jog into second base with an RBI double. That is a swing and 11 strikeouts for Cole Reagans over 5 scoreless innings.
It's off to Brown. Bridge is there. They hold it. They trample. It's over. The Knicks have won. What a comeback and a Game 1 win for New York.
It rims out. Brown grabs it. 7 seconds left. Westbrook, 5 seconds. They're down by 1. Gordon got it. Aaron Gordon with a deep shot. Williams, three-quarter court. No good. The Nuggets steal Game 1. That's a winner for Aaron Gordon. 121 to 119.
Tuesday edition of The Zone right here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Jason Anderson with you. Sterling Holmes, Dylan Michaels heading up until 2 o'clock. The next 4 hours, we've got you a lot of stuff to get into and talk about today. Newsy day, randomly, of things that I want to get into and talk about. Certainly we'll talk some Royals as they continue to be one of the best teams in baseball over the last 2 weeks. Yes, it was a rough road trip that the Royals had with the Yankees and the Tigers. But all they've done since then is lose 2 games. I mean, if you take away since the road trip, this is a team that is 11 and 9 and 11. 9 and 11 because they won that last game, which started the 10-2 stretch of the road trip against the Tigers. So if we eliminate that, even since then, they're 9-2, 9 of 11 from that. But we'll throw that one in. That's perfectly fine. It was a rough road trip. We know that. But all they've done since then is play phenomenal baseball. Great pitching is the catalyst for this whole thing. The offense has been timely. They obviously had to break out the bats against the Orioles on Sunday and the home runs on Saturday. In a couple of games in a 3-4 game stretch where they scored more than 8 runs. They didn't need 8 runs last night. They needed 1. It's all they needed last night to win against the White Sox. They win 3-0. Yet another shutout. It has been an unbelievable run for this team. Like, we have been watching the Royals offense struggle for a good portion of the season. But we've also watched the opposing team's offenses struggle even more against the Royals pitching staff. 5 shutouts in 10 games now for the Kansas City Royals. And it is just a phenomenal stretch of starting pitching. The bullpen numbers as well. It's been a lot of fun to watch this pitching staff go out there and deal. And Cole Reagans the latest in line to do that with his 11 strikeouts in 5 innings. Destroying the total on strikeouts. We didn't know if there would be a pitch count. We talked about the innings, like 18 and a half of outs recorded. There wasn't a line there on DraftKings, but that's typically where it's at. He goes well over on the Ks and under on the outs recorded last night because of the elevated pitch count. But we know he was not on a pitch count last night. And he got to the over 7 pretty quickly with 11 strikeouts in 5 innings. And the Royals playing phenomenal baseball. 2-out hit from Drew Waters. Michael Garcia doing his thing. Bobby Witt continues to do his thing. The bullpen's doing their thing. Maybe they've got something with Steven Cruz that has some really awesome stuff. You know what Steven Cruz is? A much better version of what the Royals were hoping Carlos Hernandez would be.
Yes.
And it's actually what a pitcher that has great stuff, that doesn't just throw straight arrows. He throws 100 miles an hour. Yes, straight as a dart, man. That's all he's like. Cruz has movement, and he's got some stuff. If he's not walking guys, it's a big if for him in his career, but still, he's a guy that if you add him to this bullpen, you add yet another guy that can hit 98, 99, 100. And, when you get Hunter Harvey back, maybe that could be the end of his Chris Stratton. And the bullpen gets stronger from top to bottom. So we'll see when all of that happens over the next couple of weeks. But right now, the way the roster is currently constructed, schedule-induced, I don't care. Because people were not giving the Royals benefit of the doubt when they were losing to the Yankees and the Tigers. It was they're just not good enough. Okay, well, they're clearly good enough over the course of the season. I still believe they are one of the best teams in the American League. And I said at the beginning of the season, I believe they were the most talented team in the American League. The Tigers are playing like the most talented team in the American League because Spencer Torkelson has come out of nowhere for them. He was a guy that, it's Garcia and Torkelson are really fascinating looks this year because the Tigers were not relying on Torkelson to do anything this year. In the offseason leading into this year, they had found other guys to fill that role. And Michael Garcia didn't even start opening day for this team. And those guys are two of the bigger reasons why the teams are in the position that they are. The Tigers in their position. Torkelson's been the guy realizing what the Tigers were hoping he would be when they drafted him with the top 5 pick.
What's funny is if you go back to, they're both 25 years old. Now, again, a little different, the pedigree. Mike Hill had a decent pedigree to begin with, actually, but Spencer obviously was 1-1 in 2020.
Mm-hmm.
He was going to be a dude.
I couldn't remember if he was 1-1 or if he was 1-2 or 1-3.
He was 1-1
like
in 2020, the COVID draft. And then they had Casey Mize, kind of the same thing, actually.
Yeah.
They've had two guys really take a massive step forward. It just took them 4 or 5 years. But Spencer in 2023 hit 31 home runs. Average wasn't great, but he still slugged 446, OPS of 759. Michael Garcia was good in 2023, right?
Yeah.
And then 2024 happened, and both guys were just brutal. He had 10 home runs, OPS 669. Spencer Torkelson was unplayable.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, both reverted back to their 2023.
And Torkelson even better than 2023.
Correct. And their underlying numbers of both have been great. Shout out to myself, credit to me for having Spencer Torkelson in fantasy baseball.
Please mark that. I mean, just for the S's and G's of it, just mark it.
Credit
Shout
to me.
out to me. Credit to me
for
by
having
the way.
Spencer Torkelson in fantasy baseball. So I feel like I played a minor part in his resurgence. See, it
would have been the exact opposite for me.
Yeah.
It would have been shout out to me for destroying Spencer Torkelson's season.
Yeah.
Before it even got started.
I still can't quit Mike Trout. I always get him like the 9th round, and he always gets injured. I'm like, but the value. But the value. Doesn't matter. No one cares.
Yeah, he's got as many home runs this year already than he had all of last year.
But for the Rangers, they've had 2 young players with high pedigrees finally look like they've figured out with Spencer Torkelson. Yeah, Tigers with Torkelson and Casey Mize.
Yeah.
Right? That's huge for them. The Royals feel like they have with Michael Garcia, but to an extent, I would kind of say Drew Waters.
I'll throw him in there from what we've seen so far. Why not? If we're talking about Torkelson through 35 games, then why can't we talk about Drew Waters in this stretch?
Not the same, obviously, as Torkelson, but for what the Royals need and what expectations are, I think, yes. It wasn't MJ Melendez, right? It wasn't Hunter Renfroe with a bounce-back year. But it was Drew Waters. You have to have those guys, and for the Tigers, they have another guy, Javier Baez, is back to being.
Right. I mean, that's another one. Certainly, Baez comes out of nowhere as well. But we'll
Kerry Carpenter's taken. I mean, again, the Tigers have been a team building for a long time. They've had all these high draft picks. They look like they missed on almost all of them, and then all of a sudden they've turned it around. What's funny is the Royals right now are 3rd in the AL Central. They'd be leading the AL East.
Right.
They'd be leading the Yankees, Baltimore, Tampa. I mean, all those teams that everyone said were going to be good this year. Toronto going all in. And the Royals will be leading the East. I mean, again, this goes to show you, I think Cleveland's going to take a step back. I just don't think it's sustainable.
Yeah, I'm with you, man.
But Detroit, what they're doing is very like the Royals. I think they're getting production from maybe some unheralded players, or at least guys they thought, I don't want to say unheralded because they had some pedigree, but they all took a step forward.
The guys that they had, quite frankly, sort of moved on from in the offseason.
Yes.
I mean, Baez, they moved off the position. Torkelson, they found replacements for him, and it was like these guys are now part of the past. They are not going to be part of our future or our present. And it wasn't that Garcia was not going to be part of the Royals' present. It was that it looked like he wasn't going to be part of the Royals' present in having a specific everyday position that's stagnant for him.
Yes.
He was going to be more of a super utility guy. He'll play some center field. He can play third base. He'll play some second base. He'll bounce around from different places depending on how the bat looks. And now all he's done is say, you should probably just keep him at third. Like, just leave him alone, let him play third because he's playing phenomenal baseball right now. He's walking. I'm with Ryan Lefevre. He's got the coolest, most badass walk bat flip ever. Like, it's like he's pissed at the pitcher for walking him. Like, yeah, that's what I thought. I didn't think you'd throw to me, flip the bat, stare at him while he's taking his protective guards off for being at the plate. Like, he's annoyed that he gets walked in the game, which is perfectly fine. I love it. But he's also willing to take a walk. It's not like he's annoyed and he's going to swing at stuff outside of the zone so that he can, hit the ball. Yeah. He's taking his walks, and he's still going up the middle and opposite field, even after pulling a couple of home runs against the Orioles. Like, right now, he's locked in. He told Jack Johnson last night that this is the best he's ever felt. He's never felt like this before up at the plate. I hope you can continue that feeling. Hope that feeling continues for as long as possible this year, and next year and the year after that. That Michael just keeps getting more and more comfortable, and this is the best he's ever felt. Hopefully, this just becomes the feeling he has at the plate, and he is closer to this version of himself than what he was last year. Yeah. Certainly, and I think he is closer to this than what he was last year.
Numbers say it too.
Yeah,
again, I know people probably get tired of me saying about the hypothetical numbers, but again, I will always say in baseball when it's over 162, a lot of times water will find its level. Football,
waters
will find. Which I don't look at those numbers.
That's
but
right.
but it's why in football I'm not as super analytical guy in football because it's a smaller sample size. There are a lot of one-offs, a lot more minutia that goes into decision making and stuff. I think baseball, in my opinion, for the most part, it's easier to go with the analytics and the understanding of why I think a guy could break out or come back to earth. So
Nick Capel tweeted this out yesterday and talked about the 5 shutouts in 10 games and teams that have done that going back to 2010. The Royals this year have done that. The Houston Astros in 2022 and the Texas Rangers in 2011. Ryan on Twitter tweeting to me and I believe K-Dog and saying, just for, reference, the 2022 Astros won the World Series and the 2011 Rangers lost the World Series. The last 2 teams to go 10 games with 5 shutouts in a stretch of 10 games with their pitching staff. And that's what the Royals have done so far. And yes, we know the pitching staff is a big reason. The bats start coming around, we're talking about a team that absolutely can compete for a pennant. I mean, Buster Olney at the beginning of the season said if the Royals made the World Series, there would be 0 surprise for him at all. If the Royals, the American League is so much more wide open than the National League, and especially with what the Yankees have going on with their bullpen. Yes. Devin Williams has been absolute trash.
3 more runs given up last night.
Right, and like the thing that adds to last night is not only Devin Williams with the walks, but Luke Weaver comes on, who replaced him as the closer, and then the inherited runners all score.
Yeah.
So, like, Devin Williams didn't have a runner cross the plate while he was on the mound, but he was taken out because he couldn't find the strike zone, and guys were getting on, and they bring in Luke Weaver, who has tried to be the savior as closer for Devin Williams, and then he gives up 2 different 2-run singles. And he gets a run. He's a 4-run score.
Yes.
3 of them to Devin Williams, but 1 of them to Luke Weaver because he can't come on and get the job done.
And I love it because
it's the Yankees.
It's the Yankees, and I hate the Yankees with a passion. I don't want to use nuance because it was raining and the mound was brutal.
I know Devin Williams used that as an excuse last night.
Which, if you have a 10 ERA and you're using that as an excuse, I don't think you're gonna get the benefit of the doubt from the fans. Because it doesn't sound like if it's sunny, it doesn't matter. You've been buns, my guy. I just love that the Yankees are collapsing, and it's just glorious to watch, man. I love watching of any team, probably the Yankees and the Cardinals probably second. Just I pray on their downfall. I really do.
P-R-A-Y or P-R-E-Y?
Both.
Okay.
Both.
Pray for and pray on.
Yeah, both. Yeah. I just want them to. I want the Royals to beat them so bad.
Yeah.
So that's all it comes down to.
By the way, the Royals game notes last night. 12 wins in 14 games. It's most wins in a 14. Have you seen this, by the way?
No, I've not.
Because you brought this up the other day, maybe yesterday when you were talking about the broken belt. 12 wins in 14 games. It's the most wins the Royals have had in a 14-game stretch since 2016 when they went 12 and this is from the Royals game notes. Since 2016, quote, when they went 12-2, thanks in part to a rally Manis.
Who? No, Royals.
Game notes last night.
Who? Someone listened.
Yeah, but they didn't say they're doing this thanks in part to a broken belt from Salvi.
It
should hang that belt up.
What they're doing is
not just Salvi giving a Mantis kisses.
They're trying
when they would come over, everybody coming over and kissing the Mantis case.
They're trying to have culpable deniability.
Is that right?
Yes.
Is that right?
And that's what they're trying to do.
Well, they had to win last night to have it actually be since 2016.
It's the belt. It's the Salvi belt.
We got to find out when the belt broke, because if it broke against the Tigers, then that's different. Then
I
that
don't
is
care
actually when it started.
It's the belt.
Okay.
It's the belt.
See, and this doesn't even say that it was, that stretch was when the Rally Manis and everything started. It just says, thanks in part to a Rally Manis.
Thanks in part to a broken belt by Salvi.
Salvi's belts, man. Break those belts, dude. And the offense starts breaking out as well, and that's what they've done. And I want to look at, because I was thinking about this last night while I was watching, and when Drew Waters came through, and I'm like, man, if MJ Melendez was just a little bit better than what he was at the beginning of the season, if he was only one scoop, as you would say, instead of two.
No, he was 3 to 4 scoops. I mean, that was the most scoops I've seen.
So if he was just only 2.
Yeah, that was the most scoops I've seen.
If Renfroe wasn't a train wreck defensively, no arm, and no power right now in his bat, he's just not the player that he was 2 years ago. Time catches up with everybody.
Yeah.
And that's what's going on. I think it's pretty obvious of what we're seeing from Hunter Renfroe. Even when it feels like he squares the ball up, he ain't driving it the way that he used to. If he was a little bit better, we'd still be talking about Drew Waters down in the minor leagues. Check that. We wouldn't be talking about Drew Waters down in the minor leagues, because he was doing what he was doing in the minor leagues when he got called up. He was doing all year. Yeah. We were just going, yeah, but the Royals don't care. He did this in spring training, but they still sent him down. Yes. They've seen Drew Waters. They have an idea of who Drew Waters is. If they thought this was different from Drew Waters, that he would come up and perform like this, he would be up with the team performing like this. But they've seen it. They've given him opportunities. Whatever happened last year in AAA when he, got sat down and benched or suspended or whatever the behind-the-scenes thing was, that might have been the last time that he got a real shot to be with the big league club. And then, almost out of necessity, it's like, look, man, maybe we bring up Drew Waters and he plays sporadically here or there, gives us better defense at least. The bat can't be worse, and we know the defense is going to be better and the base running is going to be better, so let's at least go that route. And he has picked up with the big leagues where he left off in AAA. And last night, coming through with the 2-out hit, doing what he did last night, like he did against Baltimore, when he put the 2-strike, 2-out hit into left center to score 2 runs against Baltimore. And he did that last night. And so, he's come through so often for this team. And I was thinking about this last night. People wanted, myself included, the Royals to go out and spend money in the offseason in right field or left field or whatever, before they made the trade for Jonathan India and we didn't know who was going to play left field and second base and third base and all of that stuff. But go out and spend money in free agency, simply move on from Renfroe and get yourself a right fielder. And we know they tried. They attempted to get Jerickson Profar, unanswered prayers. They attempted to get Anthony Santander, so far, unanswered prayers. But I looked at the other potential targets that people had discussed, and there were at least some reports out there that the Royals were kicking the tires on.
Yeah.
I want to talk about that and how it relates to the team right now and what we would be discussing if cheap John Sherman won't spend money. JJ just refuses to spend. Oh, they go get Carlos Estevez instead of going and fixing the outfield problem. Okay, well, let's talk about the players that they were interested in and if that fixed the outfield problem, or each and every case, we're going to look at case by case and say him or Drew Waters. Him or Drew Waters right now. him or Drew Waters. We're going to go through all 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 different players that they were attached to in outfield at one point in the offseason. We'll do that coming up next. Sterling Holmes, Dylan Michaels. We head up until 2 o'clock. We'll talk with Adam Teicher coming up an hour from now. Todd Liebel will hang out with us in the 1 o'clock hour. He's going to be at Robert Brogdon today. Looking forward to seeing what that is all about. 913-912-4810 is the text line to join us, to be a part of the show, part of the conversation. So one of the things we were talking about going to break is what we've seen from this Royals team. And yes, the conversation about the outfield and how much it has been an issue for this team. Drew Waters has been a really nice addition to this team based on the struggles of Hunter Renfroe and MJ Melendez. And then especially once they sent MJ Melendez down, when Mark Canha came off the IL and they kept Drew Waters, it has been a difference in his plate appearances. He's batting .284, getting on base at .330, slugging .432, so he's OPSing at .762. And he's got an OPS plus of 115, so he's 15% better than what a replacement level player would be at OPS, which is a really nice number for any Royals outfielder, let's be honest.
I do feel like the OPS plus is a little misleading because I feel like it shouldn't be replacement level player. I feel like a replacement level player would be around an 80 OPS plus in the grand scheme of things. 100's the major league average.
Well, if yours goes to 11, why don't you just turn everything
Why don't you
up
turn
so
everything
it
up
goes
to
10?
11 to go
So
to
I
10?
feel like when you say it should be 80,
Well,
if they do that, well then
it's not
100,
replacement.
So
It's
then
major league
80 can-
average, though.
That's what I said. Yeah,
Yeah,
major
league average. Not
Yeah.
not like someone from AAA, but like major league average.
Well, I mean, he was someone from AAA.
Yeah, I guess true.
So here we go. All right, so let's look at some of the names that people were talking about in the offseason to come in and help out in the outfield, to be the bat that the Royals needed, that J.J. Piccolo couldn't procure, and John Sherman maybe wasn't willing to pay because of, we still get people that say, well, the Royals are never going to compete as long as this guy's the owner. Like
Dumb.
this year. Like
Dumb.
They played in the divisional round of the playoffs last year.
Yes.
Like,
Have you seen the Pirates?
I mean,
Watched that?
yes. I
Or
mean,
that
Rockies?
is what you're complaining about.
Passan has made it his personal mission to call him out at every opportunity he can nationally on ESPN and
Rightfully
other
so.
spots that he does. Like, well, it's not like the Pirates. Or when you look at Pittsburgh, well, look what's going on with the Pirates. Like, it's constant. So let's look at what the Royals could have had. Jurickson Profar speaks for itself.
Yeah.
So it wouldn't even be helping you in the playoffs this year if you signed him. Santander, we've discussed that. 5 years, $92.5 million. He's OPSing at 577. Okay. Renfroe, by the way, is OPSing at 429. Now you've got Drew Waters OPSing at 762. Would Drew Waters be playing if Santander was in right field every day? Because you ain't benching Santander with his 5 years, $93 million contract. You'd be saying he's going to work through it. He's got the track record. He's going to work through it. I know the underlying numbers are god-awful this year, but he'll figure it out. Okay, sure. That would be an albatross right now.
One, by the way, the amount of money that Santander got, I'm glad the Royals didn't go after. I don't think he would have fit the Royals very well. He's not good at all defensively.
Well, they wanted him.
He's
I
well,
mean-
no. And again, for the right price, I understand. Again, it's baseball. It's non-salary cap.
3 years as opposed to 5 years.
3 years I'd have been in on. Like I would have, but defensively he's brutal.
Yeah.
I mean brutal. And the underlying, again, I'm sorry I'm saying it, but the underlying
they're
numbers have
brutal.
never been good for him. Even last year
they
with
weren't great.
44.
Yeah.
So you're saying you're getting a guy who's very much helped by Camden Yards, very much helped by the ballparks, and even just the AL East in general, right? Because you get to play, even Boston. I mean, down the line it's 309, whatever it is to pesky pole.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. Like Santander never made a ton of sense. Like, it's not like Yordan Alvarez. Like, it's not like a guy you're like, okay, yeah, he can't play defense, but okay, he does rake. I feel like Anthony was a guy that's like, I think he's Camden Yards aided, and we're seeing that right now in Toronto.
So a couple of other names that are out there. Tyler O'Neill was available.
Yeah.
3 years, $50 million, signed with the Baltimore Orioles. Which, by the way, Baltimore, you didn't have enough hitting already that you went and spent $50 million over 3 years on more bats instead of, some arms. So far this year, he's OPSing at 668. but he's only played 18 games.
Yeah.
You know why? Because, shocker, Tyler O'Neill is injured again. He's injured every single year of his entire career. It is unfortunate, but that's been the storyline of his career. You sign injured players, don't be shocked when they become injured. So, 3 years, $50 million, the Baltimore Orioles are going to be dealing with O'Neill this year and the next 2 years of in and out of the lineup. It's what his entire career, unfortunately, has been. When he's in there, pretty good player, although he's OPSing less than 700 this year. But how often is he going to play 115 games in a season?
It's the definition of you can't pull fat because that guy has zero fat on him.
Well, that's
and so
fine,
I mean,
yeah.
he's
Right.
just,
Well,
it's almost like you might be too strong.
Well,
you might need to.
He's fat on the payroll right now for the Orioles because they could use that 3 years, $50 million on a pitcher.
Yeah.
But that's not the case. So Tyler O'Neill injured yet again, OPSing 668, better than Renfroe, but at least Waters is playing every day.
Yeah.
And, he's OPSing 762, but he's playing every day. Another name that was brought up, Jock Peterson, signed with the Rangers. Now, they have fired their offensive coordinator in Dallas, which is, I love that they call it the offensive coordinator, but whatever. They fired their hitting coach. Jock Peterson signed 2 years, $37 million. He's OPSing at 334. No, I didn't say he's on base at 334, nor did I say he's slugging 334. I said Jock Peterson is OPSing at 334 with a 2-year, $37 million contract right now. Okay.
I don't know what happened to him. I mean, he looks like he ate Jock Peterson, but
Tommy Pham slapped the offensive ability out of him.
Also just old, man. He's been around for a while.
He's 33. Yeah. I mean, it's funny when you saw him
some of
come
these guys are in their 30s. That's the thing, is like you're getting guys in their 32, 33-year-old season, and you're signing them for 2 or 3 years.
If you don't take care of yourself, like if you don't take care of your body every year, those are the years where maybe you didn't have the extra 6 or 5 years on the end of your career that you thought you had.
It's really, honestly, it's like it was almost Peterson's a shot on almost a little different, but like a Hunter Renfroe, a guy in your 30s, power hitter, not good to. I mean, he can't play outfield anymore. He's DH only. Jock Peterson is, which is hilarious because you look at him 10 years ago when he was playing center field in a good center field, skinny, really, really athletic, and now it's just he can't do anything. And he looks like a guy who actually has just fallen off a cliff because he was already a platoon only guy. He was only going to face righties, and I don't see it turning around for Jock at all.
And especially 2 years, $37 million.
Yes.
That's brutal. But, going back to Tyler O'Neill for a second. Here are the games he's played in his career. And he's turning 30 this year. In a month, he's going to turn 30. So now there's going to be a 3 in front of Tyler O'Neill's age, who has battled injuries his entire career. 61 games, 60 games. 2020, he played 50 out of 60, so that's unfortunate for him that he played like his highest percentage, but in a COVID year. 2021, 138. 96, 72, 113, and he's only played half the game so far this year, and that will continue to decrease because he's still on the IL. So 138 in 2021 and 113 in 2024 are the 2 times in his 8-year career he's played 100 games in a season. I mean, he won a gold 50 out of 60. I'll give him 3 out of 8.
Sure.
So I'll assume, I shouldn't, but I'll assume he gets 50 more games over the next
100.
What would be 102 games or whatever would have been. So I mentioned a guy in Jock Peterson and somebody that slapped him. Tommy Pham signed 1 year, $4 million, and there was thoughts of just bring back Tommy Pham, like you saw what he did last year. 1 year, $4 million for Tommy Pham. He's OPSing at 480 right now. Tommy Pham is. Michael Conforto. What a really underrated player for the Giants. Maybe the most underrated free agent. Signed with the Dodgers, 1 year, $17 million. OPSing at 528 right now. $17 million. Only 1 year. So 1 year contracts aren't necessarily terrible, but 1 year, $17 million for the Dodgers, OPSing at 528.
That definitely needs the bang
Right.
for their buck,
But also a guy in a lineup that's protected by everybody. I mean, it's like, oh, thank God we've got Michael Conforto that we can throw meatballs to, because everybody else we're sitting here stressed about, making a mistake and they're going to pound it 500 feet. He's OPSing at 528. Maybe there's pressure of now being in L.A. playing for the Dodgers. I don't know. But $17 million for a 520 OPS guy? No, thank you. Randall Grichuk was the guy that people talked about. 1 year, $5 million for the Diamondbacks. He's OPSing at 645. He's getting on base at 270 right now. Like, is that Drew Waters? I'll take him.
Yes.
Over what you're seeing with that. Now, the last name, I saved this one for last because it's the one that obviously stands out. The Royals were connected at a time with Teoscar Hernandez.
Yeah.
That they were at least making a play for Hernandez. He re-signed with the Dodgers, 3 years, $66 million. He's OPSing at 910, already has 9 home runs, has 9 doubles.
He's been great.
So that's the one that stands out that, man, would it have been worth it to overpay more than $22 million per year for Teoscar Hernandez, but you're also paying for 33, 34, and 35-year-old season as opposed to what they were thinking they were paying for Santander. It's like, we've seen Hernandez. The question would have been, was last year his one last rise of like, no, I'm not done yet? Or was last year a resurgence? Because looking at Teoscar Hernandez's OPS, 2020 was 920, 2021 was 870, 2022 was 807, 2023 was 740. Heading the wrong direction, right? Last year in LA, 840, 33 home runs, almost 100 RBIs. So are you going to say, we're going to give him 4? It's got 3 for 66 in LA. Well, if I'm going to go to Kansas City, I'm going to need 4 with fully guaranteed dollars.
Or 3 for 75.
Or 3 for 75 or something to make it worth my while to go to Kansas City and leave LA where I can win a championship. Well, so far so good. He's about to turn 30. Well, no, he doesn't turn 33 until this offseason. So he's 32. So you got 32, 33, and 34-year-old season for Teoscar Hernandez. And you would be making one hell of a bet that he was not just 1 year in LA protected by the guys in the lineup there that he was batting with, and now you put him in the Royals, and he's going to be one of the main guys they attack. Is he going to be that same guy? I don't know.
You got Bobby, and then you'd hope
Right.
that Salvi or Vinny would be able to.
You
This year it'd be Michael.
You would have had to make that bet, and the Royals clearly weren't willing to go above what the Dodgers were offering in $22 million per year for 3 years. That would be the one that would have made a difference. And that was a guy that a lot of people talked about. There were a lot of conversations about, man, can you get Teoscar Hernandez? Could you get Hernandez to go, man, that's the guy I want. He has been awesome so far this year. And right now, through 35 games in the season, it looks worth it. Looks worth the $22 million per year. So, yes, I would take him over Drew Waters. But you're talking about, out of all those players, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 players we mentioned that the Royals were connected to at one point.
Throw in Taylor Ward.
As a trade,
As
though.
a trade, he's been
that
bad.
That would have been a
brutal.
trade. So these were just free agents.
Yeah,
So that
fair,
would have been a
fair.
trade. And because they traded for India, I didn't include players they
Fair.
would have traded for.
Good call.
Because they did actually trade for somebody. But so just the free agents, I mentioned 8 players. One of them would be better than Drew Waters. And all of them would be more expensive than what you're getting from Drew Waters.
And I feel like the Dodgers would have done the Trent Williams, where whatever number you get from
Yeah.
Kansas City, bring it to us, and we'll just
Yeah, even if the
we're
Royals
giving you
go
3
3
for
a
60.
little bit more than
We're
that.
giving you
Yeah.
3 for 66 because nobody's giving you 3 for 80.
Right.
So,
or
And
3
we
for
would.
75.
or 3 for 75. And if they do, then we'll give you 3 for 75. Okay, then they're eventually going to get priced out because we're the Dodgers. Now luxury tax and all of that stuff, whatever. That's the one that stands out, is Teoscar Hernandez.
Yeah.
They traded for India. They could have traded for Taylor Ward. I'm glad they at least traded for India as opposed to Ward because India's at least getting on base right now and doing some of those things in front of Bobby Witt. And so we'll see what happens. If Tyler O'Neill comes back and plays the rest of the season healthy and hits 25 home runs, well, then maybe that would have been worth 3 for 50. But the fact that he's going to turn 30 years old in June and he's only had a couple of years in his entire 8-year career where he's been healthy enough to play almost a full season, it's just not a risk this Royals team is in position to make.
Yeah.
I understand why the Orioles will do it because the Orioles would say, well, when he's healthy, our offense is unbelievable. And if he's not, we got guys that can fill in for him in the time being. Let's spend the money there. as opposed to you probably should have spent some money on some more arms. But whatever.
And, by the way, Drew Waters, probably one of the best defenders of any of the names I'm not saying Drew Waters is a great defender. I'm not saying he's great, but comparatively to all those other guys, Tyler O'Neill maybe is the only other guy you could say
he's
is
got a couple Gold Gloves.
Is in the
when
same,
he's playing.
When he's playing. So I think that is also something to remember as well. It's not just the bat; it's the glove and probably one of the better base runners, or at least speed wise, of those dudes.
Now Waters was not the original plan. We know that.
Yes.
Okay. Because if it was, he would have broke camp with the big league club. They've stumbled on to what they're getting from Drew Waters. And if they thought this was what Drew Waters was going to be, then again, he would have broke camp with the big league club. So it's a little bit of found money right now. But the found money is better than the burnt money, which is what you would be dealing with right now with Santander or Jock Peterson or Tyler O'Neill sitting, waiting for a rehab assignment down with the Storm Chasers or the Naturals, or Tommy Pham, playing fantasy baseball with guys making $4 million doing the same that Hunter Renfroe's doing. I mean, the same thing as Hunter Renfroe right now. In fact, he's slugging almost the exact. Renfroe's slugging 200. Pham's slugging 224. So he's been better than Hunter Renfroe, clearly.
Finally, we led a horse to waters.
That's actually going to make me want to drink. I think I'm pronouncing Grichuk incorrectly. And by reading that and pronouncing it incorrectly, I probably pronounced it incorrectly as well. Again, is that right? Is it Grichuk?
Randall Grichuk.
Okay, cool. If there's one thing we know about this show, it's that pronunciations are vastly important, and I'm really good at them. Is it Devin or Devon?
Yours is Randall Grichuk. Mine's an equestrian.
Yeah, maybe Grichuk.
Likes horses.
Grichuk.
Mine's not knowing which pitchers have one arm.
Yeah,
So.
I mean, typically there's only one of them out there.
Did you know that Jim Abbott only had...
Hey, Abbott. Yeah, he just he only had one of them.
I was explaining to my wife that story of like how anytime it's Jim Abbott, because somehow Jim Abbott was we were playing a crossword puzzle, and one of the clues ended up being Jim Abbott. And I was trying to explain the whole thing to her. So anytime there's something that's like we should all know, and I was like, it's a Jim Abbott, and so now that's my new thing with my wife now. So
nice.
Congrats, Dylan, you've made it to the house.
I can contribute there.
Yeah. You did.
My wife and I's thing is if it's from a league of their own. Like if somebody has like if you're talking
no
about
crying
like
in baseball.
No. It's like well, I mean, is he good looking? What a hitter. Well, I mean, well, if we're gonna set him up, like what a hitter, Marla Hooch, what a hitter. I'm joking. We don't do that. She doesn't do that. I do that. Mainly when it comes to men, only men. That's it. Tex says if you eliminate that 60-yard run, they're really only giving up 4.5 yards per rush. Thank you for the callback. That's great. When I said, well, yes, but they're 10-2. But even if you just look at since that road trip, which was rough, they're 9-2, but you get to add another win, and that's a throwback to the, eliminate those things. Another text says, confirm Salvi broke the belt during the doubleheader against the Colorado Rockies.
Still count it.
Yeah, sure. Okay. Text, I'm not sure if you remember, but at some point, the first Rally Manus died. And they had to find a second one.
I forgot about that.
Said, I don't think anyone was supposed to find out, but somehow it was leaked that Manus later in the season was not the original one. Well, no wonder they didn't make the playoffs. So
he can't.
Their whole
is it a second
season,
belt?
Their whole season was based on the lifespan of a Rally Manus. That doesn't seem like that's great strategy. How long does what's the lifespan of a Manus anyway? You better hope you find that thing as a child, as a baby.
Not
baby
great.
Manus.
Not great. 10 to 12 months.
Okay, so if you
that's a full season.
Yeah,
but I don't think they got it.
But when did you get the Manus? Did you adopt it midlife? Was it already going out to get a divorce and buy a Corvette?
I think he was a senior.
What was this Mantis doing?
Smaller species, lifespans of 4 to 8 weeks.
We'll talk with Adam Teicher. That's how much time he has left covering the Chiefs. We talk with him for the next couple of segments. Joining us here in the zone, Adam. How are you, sir?
Good, Jason. How you doing today?
I am doing just fine. Adam, do you, not even do you, I guess that we know that there's love there. I just wonder, how much do you love going out there and watching rookie minicamp for all the things you can glean from it?
Well, it's a little weird because the Chiefs had, 60, 70 guys, something like that out there this weekend. And, it's really a football practice for 7 draft picks plus maybe 5 other guys who they kind of like, maybe workout guys or undrafted guys. So it's really, having a football practice just for the benefit of 12 or 15 guys or something like that. So in that sense, it's kind of weird. And you see some weird things out there because these guys have never played with each other before. So you see a lot of, receivers turning one way and the ball going the other way. You see a lot of that stuff. But, it's football, in the end, it's still football. So it's not tackle football. I mean, they're just, running around in shorts and T-shirts and helmets, but it still resembles football. So to me, it's kind of the start of the work on the new year. They've done the roster building part of it now, and now it's time to sharpen up and get ready to go.
So in all seriousness, though, and as you talk about that, and I think it's a good point about the draft picks and some undrafted free agents and maybe a couple of other guys that might turn some heads and, all right, well, we weren't planning on this, but let's give this guy a closer look. Is there something that when you're out there watching, is there something to glean from the things that you see while you're out there?
Well, I mean, with the linemen, it's really hard because they're not, obviously no one's in pads, so you can't tell. You can see how a guy moves around a little bit and keep track of what he's doing. But in the case of Josh Simmons, you kind of able to see what he's doing and not doing at this point of his career. And so it's more of a thing for receivers. You really can't tell much about running backs, but so it's more about the receivers and the DBs. It's kind of more of a passing thing than anything else. So you can't tell a whole lot. I wouldn't make any conclusions based on what you see, but there's some information to be gleaned from this, sure.
Adam Teicher's our guest. In what has been your final offseason in covering the Chiefs, and from a 60,000-foot view, the foot views always change depending on it's 10,000-foot view or it's a 60, it's 100,000. I don't know. But from the larger picture, what they accomplished in the offseason from free agency to the draft. Are you good with what they were able to accomplish with what they had on the table going into the offseason?
Yeah, given their resources, their draft picks, and their money situation, I think so. I mean, I think they did about as reasonably a good of a job as they could have. You can argue about some of their draft picks or some of the guys they signed in free agency. Were they right? Were they not right? I mean, that's an open argument. But in terms of positions and trying to address some areas of the team that needed to be addressed, I think they did that. So, I mean, I think they did a nice job. I think they're ready to compete for another championship with this roster. But we'll see. But I do think they're good enough to win another championship if some other things go right.
Adam Teicher from ESPN is our guest. Did you take anything away from hearing the draft picks in front of the media for the first time? I enjoyed hearing, Jeffrey Bassa and his conversation to learn how much of a film and defensive scheme nerd he's been since high school, and pulling up YouTube videos and just watching defensive breakdowns. Ashton Gelati, I mean, if he's as good of a football player as he seems to be a person, then the Chiefs have got something in the third round.
Yeah, they do. And so, I think those two were the ones who were maybe had the most interesting stories to tell. But, it kind of was interesting, some of the things they had to say.
Jeffrey Bassa, let's talk about him a little bit with some of the things that he was talking about. He said that, by playing the safety position, then, he knows where my guys in the secondary are and what they're supposed to be doing as a linebacker. And he was the green dot, so he's got to know where everybody's going to be on the field defensively in that scheme regardless. But he also said, that the coverage is something that he takes pride in. And I don't know, like the last time the Chiefs had a guy, I mean, maybe Drew Tranquill, not last year, but the first year he was with the Chiefs that played pretty well. They drafted Willie Gay to be a guy that could cover linebackers. We know it's been something Nick Bolton has been steadily trying to improve upon, but it has been something the Chiefs have sort of under the radar, underrated part of it that the Chiefs have been searching for someone to be a linebacker that can cover. And it was nice. I don't know how good he's going to be, but it was nice to hear that Jeffrey Bossa say that, you know, one of the things he takes pride in is his coverage skills.
Yeah, and I think he's kind of the opposite type of player that Nick Bolton is. You know, maybe there's going to be some holes in his run game defense as opposed to his pass game defense. But, you know, all of this, you know, and I'm sure he'll learn and get better as time goes on. So I would expect that he'll be a starter for the Chiefs, maybe not this year, but at some point down the road. And, you know, the Chiefs have been looking for that kind of player for a while. And so let's see whether Jeffrey Bassa is that kind of guy. You remember the Chiefs drafted a guy, I want to say it was maybe 2018. It's been a few years now, by the name of Dorian O'Daniel, and he was from Clemson, and they drafted him in the third round.
His first draft, yeah. They
were convinced that he was the coverage linebacker that they had been lacking for a long time, and he never really he played well on special teams, but he never really saw the field on defense. So he never became that kind of player for the Chiefs. So too early to say that Bass is going to be that kind of player for the Chiefs, but I think he'll eventually get that chance to be.
If I remember right, and memory may not serve me well, but if I remember right, I remember there being some questions about, and we talk about this with Omar Norman Lott as a rotational defensive lineman, but some questions about playing time, how much he actually played at Clemson, regular player or not, how much of the linebacker position he had played. And if memory serves, like he was pretty fast sideline to sideline, but it didn't feel like sort of understanding the nuances of the position was something that came naturally to him as opposed to a pretty good special teamer, where it feels like from the things talked about Bassa, that the linebacker position coming from a safety and just sort of understanding the defense and wearing the green dot is kind of one of the natural talents that he has.
Yeah, I think he's got a better chance of becoming that kind of player for the Chiefs than Dorian O'Daniel did. No doubt. But we still have to see it.
Yeah.
You know, it still has to happen.
Yeah, no, you're right. I mean, it's not going to be, hey, this guy loves to cover and he's fast and it's going to work out. Well, Dorian O'Daniel, okay, touche. You know, so you never know. And you know what? And as long as Breland Speaks never tells us that a defensive lineman is never on the ground, I think we're good. You know, just Breland Speaks was never on the ground. So I mean, it's also he wasn't tackling people and taking them to the ground, so that's part of it as well. Visiting with Adam Teicher from ESPN. Josh Simmons has signed his contract already. He is one of two players in the first round to sign the contract. It's interesting that, I mean, we have these players that are slotted, but some of the guaranteed dollars or how soon you get it or some of the things can be maneuvered and massaged in certain ways. And he's a Rosenhaus client, which is kind of interesting that it didn't last very long into the offseason or anything like that. One, I think it's a positive they got it done. But there's also a part of me that sort of has a little bit of a concern, and I'll relate it to a baseball, and so it's not apples and to apples, but Hunter Dozier was a guy that was coming up on free agency a year, one more year with the Royals, and he was a free agent, and he signed a contract off of a career year that seemed like, man, that's kind of undervalue. If he waits another year and has this year again, he's going to sign for much more than that. And so there was a little bit of a concern of like, is he go ahead and cashing in right now because does he feel like, you know, that's that this was the best he can do, and so he better get his money right now. And as it turned out, he never came close to the numbers that he had. I'm glad they got the deal done with Josh Simmons because it's not something that's going to linger. But maybe it's wrong. But one of the first things I thought is, boy, he's kind of quick to sign that deal and get it done before you start to get into mini camps and OTAs and everything, and start to maybe be around the Chiefs a little bit more now that he's a Kansas City Chief. Just go ahead and get that thing done and get the guaranteed deal, get the guaranteed dollars, and not have to worry about anything after that.
Yeah. You know, there can be a million reasons why a guy signs early. You know, because you're right, they're slotted. So basically, he's going to get what he's going to get, and there can be a million reasons why a guy signs early or doesn't sign early, and why that even because they're slotted, that. It still might take a while for all the first rounders to sign. We might go up to shortly before camp starts in July, which is 2.5 months away. So and maybe Josh Simmons has told Rosenhaus, hey, listen, I want my money. I want to get paid. I'm going to get some money up front in this deal, and I want it right now. And there's things I want to do with it. So let's not mess around here. Let's just go ahead and have them cut me a check, and I'll sign, and we'll do it that way. And so, that could be a reason. There could be some various other things, but sooner or later they're all going to sign. And they're all basically going to have to take what's on the table. So I'm sure that's what Josh Simmons did.
Are unsigned players allowed to, outside of mini camps and things like that, be at the facilities and rehab and train and everything? It just popped into my head. Like, if they are, then maybe I go back to my original question. If they're not, then maybe that's part of get the thing done so I can be in there and rehab. I don't know. Are they allowed to be there and rehab even unsigned?
Yeah, I mean, the Chiefs are in their off-season program now. So, the rookies who don't have a contract can be a part of this if they have not signed their contract. Draft picks can. So, I mean, it won't really – that won't be a factor until training camp starts, where he has to have a signed contract to participate. A guy needs to have that.
Yeah. Well, at least it's something that they're not going to have to deal with now. And so it's a Rosenhaus guy, and we'll see. You know what would be great, Adam, is if 4 years from now they're having trouble getting this long-term deal done with Josh Simmons. You know why that'd be a great thing to have happen? Well, because he's been really good with the Chiefs, and they're having trouble getting this thing done with Drew Rosenhaus because Josh Simmons has been awesome and wants maybe more money, and so they're going through this contract negotiation because he's been really good over 4 years. Yeah,
if you're the Chiefs, you want them 4 years from now, or 3 years from now, I guess, to invoke that fifth-year option on Josh Simmons. That's what you want.
Yeah, and have the, Drew wants more than maybe what he's worth. Okay, well, do we have to trade the guy for more draft picks? I don't know. It'd be great if it was all like he's the best tackle in the game and they get something done and it's all like kumbaya. But if I had to settle right now, Adam, I would take they're having trouble getting him signed to this massive long-term deal as a left tackle with Drew Rosenhaus, which means that they want to sign him to a massive deal for a left tackle because he's been that good.
Yeah. Let's see what the financial situation for the Chiefs looks like in 3 or 4 years. But my sense is they'd be very happy to pay Josh Simmons market value near the top of the tackle market in 3 or 4 years. I think that would be an ideal scenario for them, you know?
I mean, they wanted to pay Trent Williams as the highest tackle in the league. They were trying to give him that money. They're not afraid to pay the tackles. I mean, they paid Juwan Taylor the money that they paid him. It's just finding and paying the right guy. I mean, they wanted to pay Orlando Brown, so it's not like they were cheap and shying away from it. So I think they would do that. I just hope they're in a position to have to negotiate with Rosenhaus because he's that good. That would be great. Adam Teicher is our guest from ESPN. Adam at ESPN, the power rankings came out, post-draft power rankings, post-essentially free agent power rankings, and the Chiefs on top. You were part of this as NFL Nation and the reporters. Power rankings for the Chiefs. Any surprise that the Eagles are number 2? They won the Super Bowl. They've re-signed a couple of their players. They lost some players. Also viewed as having a great draft because Howie Roseman's never made a mistake in the draft. So any surprise that Chiefs are on top at number 1 post free agency and draft power rankings at ESPN?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, they went 15-2 last year, but in a lot of people's eyes, they were a little underwhelming. That they won a lot of close games, as we know, and you got blown out in the Super Bowl, and so I think in a lot of people's eyes, it seems like maybe it's just wishful thinking, but it seems like a lot of people think the Chiefs are in decline or something like that. So I think it is, and I do think it's going to be tougher for them than it's been. You look around the AFC West, and it looks like these teams, and particularly L.A. and Denver, are making a lot of good moves. They're making a lot of smart moves, and so winning the division, I think, will be a lot more difficult than it was. And then around the AFC, and you see some of the same things. I like a lot of the moves the Bills are making. So, is it going to be that easy for the Chiefs to make it back to the Super Bowl? I don't think so, but it seems like people maybe nationally are not agreeing with me on that. So. But I do think that their roster is good enough to get them back to another championship, but we'll have to see.
Yeah, I mean, everybody's going to get better with first-round draft picks, at least on paper, right? I mean, wow, they're bringing this guy in, and you think about how great he can be. Obviously, with the Chiefs, if they hit on Josh Simmons, well, that solves a huge need for them. And I think about, like, some other teams in the division, like throwing Barron with the Broncos, and it's like, oh, great, he gets to play opposite Pat Surtain, and they brought in Dre Greenlaw, and my God, Denver, one of the best defenses in the league, got better from a year ago. That's going to be tough to score. The defense better be stout against the Broncos, because that might be a 17-14, both games combined might be 17-14.
You might need to block a field goal on the last play.
Maybe. That would be crazy, Adam. Stop speaking craziness right now. You're out over your skis, buddy. Bring it back, okay? But also, like, thinking about the Ravens, like, I'm not a fan of thinking of Kyle Hamilton and Malachi Starks as safeties roaming around there with the Ravens in the defensive backfield. That doesn't really get me excited about playing the Ravens at all. Like, just thinking about teams, you're right. The other teams got better as well, and we'll see what they look like. But, man, those were a couple of players that I didn't want to see go to those spots, just because what it does to those added on to the defense that makes them more multi-dimensional when the Chiefs, I think, offensively are trying to get back to where they were a couple of years ago.
Yeah, and, when New England was having its that big 20-year or so run that they had with Brady and Belichick, I don't remember. I certainly know that the other AFC East teams were never as much of a threat to them as I think the Broncos and the Chargers are right now to the Chiefs.
Agreed.
And I think around the AFC, Pittsburgh had some good teams and during those years, and Indianapolis, when Manning was their quarterback, had some pretty good teams. But I don't really think the conference was as deep maybe then than it is now. So I think it's going to be difficult for the Chiefs. I'm not saying they can't do it. I think they've got as good a shot as anybody. But I think the number of legitimate contenders in the division and in the AFC are maybe higher than they've been in the last several years.
Yeah, I agree. Adam Teicher from ESPN is our guest. Along with the power rankings, you also wrote up for the Chiefs specifically about the most improved position of the offseason and the draft for each and every team that was in the power rankings. They had their reporters do that. You chose the most improved position to be wide receiver. Why'd you go with wide receiver for this team?
Yeah, they did not sign a free agent or wide receiver, and they drafted a guy only in the fourth round. But I still think that, receiver, the Chiefs really liked where they were. They loved what they saw from their top three wide receivers last year in training camp. That group, of course, being Rashee Rice and Hollywood Brown and Xavier Worthy. And they feel like getting that band back together. Never had all three on the field at the same time. Most of the year just had the one guy on the field at the same time, right? I mean, two of them were gone for most of the year. So there's a real feeling in there that this time, assuming those guys can stay healthy, they really can have that kind of passing game that they were so desperate for last year. And boy, I tell you what, they were pinning so much on Rashee Rice last year, and we saw the way he started the year. I mean, he was leading the league in catches before he got hurt in week 4. So they were really pinning a lot on him. And so having him back and healthy, assuming he plays a full season, I do think is going to make a difference. So, I think, it sounds weird to say it about a position where they didn't add anyone for the outside of consequence. Maybe Jalen Royals can break into the playing rotation, but as of right now, I think he's no better than the fifth wide receiver. So I do think that I still think that position can be a lot better than what it was last year.
I think back to 2 years ago to what it is right now. And if we want to talk about most improved positions, I think over a 2-year span, I mean, it is just unbelievable, that position. We went into 2023, Adam, coming off a Super Bowl win against the Eagles, and that season, the conversation around training camp was that they had so many wide receivers, how could they cut some of these guys? And that wide receiving core to start the season, Adam, consisted of Kadarius Toney, Sky Moore, MVS, Rashee Rice, Justin Watson, Richie James, and Justin Ross. They had so many wide receivers that they couldn't possibly cut somebody. That was 7 deep. The Royals, the Chiefs 5 right now, Rashee Rice, Hollywood Brown, Xavier Worthy, Jalen Royals, and Juju Smith-Schuster. Like, I mean, it's you're talking about varsity and JV, essentially, between from 2 years ago to now.
Yeah, they certainly didn't have anybody back then like Rashee Rice is now, and I think Worthy's going to have a better year than he did as a rookie. And Hollywood Brown's the one guy to me is a little bit of a wild card. He hadn't had a big season now since 2021 when he had that 1,000-yard season for Baltimore. So he's a little bit of a wild card. So let's see what he brings to the table. But I do think it's going to be significant. I think he'll be the kind of player the Chiefs need him to be.
Adam Teicher from ESPN is our guest. We'll take a timeout. We'll come back. We'll talk a little bit more about the specific rookies. Numbers being passed out, some significant numbers. A former Chief would like to see a certain bodily fluid on jerseys, in a good football way, by the way. We'll talk about that on the other side of the break. Hanging out with Adam Teicher from ESPN, Chiefs Insider. More Zone next. rookie minicamp wrapping up over the weekend. We heard from the rookies. Adam, I joked about the numbers that we know these players are going to wear. Some of them pretty significant meanings to them. Omar Norman Lott's going to wear number 55. And if people did not see that, the Chiefs on Instagram had put out a picture of all of the jerseys with the last name on it and the numbers that they'll be wearing. And Frank Clark said about Omar Norman Lott's 55, Frank Clark said, make sure he's got blood on those numbers. That's a yes. You know what, Omar? If you're going to live up to number 55, then make sure that there's blood in the water. Make sure that come playoff time that jersey is not clean.
I feel like Frank Clark never had a jersey at the end of a game. It wasn't bloody. It had some other stuff on it.
100%.
So I know where he's coming from.
Yep. If there's one player to say that and actually be like, yeah, that makes sense because that's the way I remember it, it would be Frank Clark. I don't remember at the end of the game him having a jersey that didn't. Like, you could be playing on turf, and that jersey's going to be messed up and dirty and something. It's like, how did you get all of that dirt on there? Like, it's red. Like, what's the deal? Is that paint? No, it's just blood. He's got arms wrapped up and everything. Like, he was. Man, I know that people can talk about and this is a different story, about the trade and the money, but playoff Frank Clark was so much fun to watch, man. It just was.
He was.
So fun.
It was a sight to see.
Yeah. Adam Teicher's our guest. All right, Adam, if you were going to predict the future, which we like that you do quite often, by the way, who would you go with as the favorite right now to win the Mac Lee Hill Award for this Chiefs team?
That's interesting. Seren asked me that last week, too.
Oh, well, son of a gun. Never mind.
Yeah. You know, I went with,
I didn't hear the conversation.
With Ashton Gillott.
Okay.
Gelati. I think he has the most, Simmons aside, for a different reason, I think he's got the most upside of a guy who can give the Chiefs some big things as a rookie. But let's see with Simmons, of course. Let's see. Just watching him move around on the practice field over the weekend, he didn't look like a guy who's going to be ready when the regular season starts. Maybe he will. Maybe I'm just eyeballing it wrong. But I think it might be a little while before he's ready to play some meaningful football. So I'll go with Ashton Gelati.
Yeah, damn that Seren. We talked about it yesterday with Mick Schaefer because he asked it on Sunday Sound Off. So he asked us, like, who's the Mac Lee Hill Award winner? And there were 3 people on the panel for Sunday Sound Off, and then there were 3 of us here. And he said combined there were 5 different answers of the panel right. And all of us. I'm like, that's kind of interesting from that standpoint. Seren was on the panel, so he picked Josh Simmons, and then Sterling and I had Brashard Smith, and we were the only ones with Brashard Smith. And I was like trying to handicap it and like who has the opportunity to do that. Dylan, who'd you pick? Did you go Gelati? So Dylan went Gelati because he sucks up to Adam Teicher constantly. Ridiculous. And then somebody else said Bassa, and I think somebody else had Omar Norman Lott that was there. I was thinking about Royals, but I just don't know the opportunity that would be there for Jalen Royals to win the award.
Yeah, right now he looks like no better than the 5th wide receiver. But, there's plenty of time for that to change. But, I wouldn't expect him. But, when you're talking about the Mac Lee Hill Award, it's gone to some guys you wouldn't expect over the years. Some of the better players the Chiefs have had did not win that award, and so sometimes it goes to somebody you just don't expect. So, it is an interesting question this year. Some years you think about it at this time, shortly after the draft, and you're like, oh, yeah, this guy's going to win it for sure. Mm-hmm. And he might or might not, but you feel like you have a good grip on that. But, I can see how you could go for any of several guys, and you might be right.
Looking back at some of the winners, 2018 obviously was not the draft that was the shining example of Brett Veach as a GM. But I would have lost a lot of money if somebody, and I would come up with 100 guesses probably before I landed on this person that won the Mac Lee Hill Award in 2018.
And I don't remember who it was.
Andrew Wiley. Undrafted.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah.
I mean,
there you go.
But it's twofold. One, it's credit to Andrew Wiley for what he was able to accomplish, and then by the way, go and get a payday. So good for him. But also, it's kind of an interesting look at us talking about the 2018 draft of more of an emphasis on how that one kind of was less than, was pretty subpar. And it certainly got better over the years from that. But Andrew Wiley was the 2018 Mac Lehill Award winner. I don't know if there's an undrafted free agent. Is the favorite in the clubhouse Briningstool, the tight end from Clemson?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, they've got some other guys that they really like, but I do think that if he's of their undrafted guys, I think he's maybe got the best shot. Maybe that's more of a commentary on where they are at tight end and maybe a lack of depth, and what is Jared Wiley going to have when camp starts, and how quickly can he get into it. And right now they've got Kelsey and they got Noah Gray, and those are the guys you can count on. And other than that, I think there's going to be some opportunity for Briningstool. So yeah, I would think he's got a better chance of any of their undrafted guys.
What do you make of the story that Andy Reid was the one that made the call to Briningstool to get him to be a Chief?
Yeah, well, you got to have a closer. You got to have somebody to finish the job, and I think that's an indication of how the Chiefs how much the Chiefs wanted him. I do think that is an indication. So I think he's going to get every chance to show what he can do. And I think at this point, I think it would be an upset if he didn't make the 53.
Me too.
When the season starts. Long way to go before we can say that, but I think that's a decent bet for this point of the year.
He was like
an undrafted rookie.
He was like a consensus top 10 tight end and like a consensus top, like a fourth or fifth rounder. I mean, if the Chiefs had taken him over Jalen Royals, I don't think any draft analyst would have been like, oh, my God, what are they doing? Why are they taking this guy? Brugler had him in the fifth round. The KCSN guys had him in the fifth round. Matt Miller, loved the free agent signing. Like, why is this guy still there? So, yeah, and it's probably not fair. He said, 5 or 6 different teams were contacting him. If the other teams are probably like, well, that's kind of BS, Chiefs. Like, you can't have Andy Reid call the guy. Like, we got our scouts calling him. And you guys had Andy Reid call him? That's not fair. Like, come on, man. Had we known that, we would have had our coach call him. I mean, how are you going to say no to Andy Reid when he's the one saying, hey, we want you here in Kansas City to come play with Patrick Mahomes, learn from Travis Kelce, and be a Kansas City Chief? What do you say?
If I'm Andy Reid and I've just spent 3 long days in the draft room, I'm going to go out and play golf when the draft is over. I'm not going to be calling players. So good for him that he.
You think Andy Reid is going to take time off after the draft?
No, I don't think he's going to take any time off the draft.
He's immediately figuring out how Royals and Brashard Smith are going to fit into the offense.
Among other things.
Among
yes, he is.
many, many other things. And also looking at the best cheeseburger spots on different places. He may be going on vacation if he goes on vacation.
I think he scouts them out. I think you could ask him about, hey, Shreveport, Louisiana, Andy, where can I get a cheeseburger there? He'll know.
His top 3 in every city.
He already has that. He already has all that in a massive manual. It sits next to those binders in the back.
It's right next to his playbook.
I don't think he needs it. I think he just memorizes it.
That's true. Yeah,
he's got that in his memory. There.
It's like when I drive somewhere one time, I don't need the maps anymore. It's like he goes one place, he knows exactly where to go.
That's exactly right. Yeah, I've got my playbook and I got my burger book, and I've kind of memorized both of them. So I've got everything there. By the way, quick aside before we let you go, that was going to be the last one for you, but it just reminded me when we're talking about the playbook. Any surprise from you that Josh Simmons was like, it's not really as intricate as I thought the playbook would be, and also like, I'm pretty sure the playbook that you have right now, maybe not the playbook of week 3 or week 4, in what may be the case. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong on that. Yeah,
well, I'm sure that Ohio State, he had a pretty big, I'm sure they don't go easy on their guys either. So, but yeah, we'll see. I mean, we'll see whether it really is that way. I mean, does he have things figured out right away, or it's going to take a little bit of time? Yeah, and he said, going from San Diego State to Ohio State was a big jump, and it doesn't seem like this playbook is that big of a jump from what Chip Kelly had them run. And that's a guy who's coached in the NFL before as well, so that's good. Right. Long-time NFL head coach. It's one of the things they talked about with Xavier Worthy was that Sark, running an offense that was somewhat similar to the Chiefs, and his ability to easily pick up the offense. And thank God he did, because when the guys went down, they needed somebody to step up and play.
And he did. So we'll see. Adam Teicher from ESPN, our guest, our Chiefs insider. Adam, appreciate the time as always, brother. We'll talk next week, man.
All right, good stuff, Jason. We'll talk to you then.
Absolutely. Adam Teicher from ESPN Chiefs Insider joining us talking about the Chiefs and rookie minicamp. The numbers have been assigned. We talked about the significance of a couple of the players and their numbers being assigned. But I did like seeing that with Omar Norman Lott with number 55, that Frank Clark, make sure he's got blood on those numbers.
What's bigger, do we think? Andy Reid's Burger playbook or the Chiefs playbook? Which one do you think is a larger?
Because I do think there's something to Adam Teicher when he says he's got those things memorized. Because every road trip they've taken, an NFL city, I do think Andy knows the top 5 burger joints in every NFL city, and I don't think he has to go to like a black book to figure that out. Like back in the day before we had cell phones and everything, where you had to have like the book in your pocket of all the numbers of people. Your Rolodex at the office. Don't really need it anymore. Heck, you don't even need business cards. There are apps to just store business cards on, right on your phone. You got this whole computer right here in your pocket. It's crazy. And everybody saw that coming back when I was in elementary school. You had to learn about math because you're not going to you need to learn this because you're not going to walk around with a calculator in your pocket. Liar. You fool. Yes, I am, actually.
And you'll need to learn cursive for some reason.
Yes, of course I'm going to be needing cursive. So
I'll be doing so much arithmetic and cursive in my life. That's all I learned. Taxes, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
Although my handwriting is a little bit of Spanglish. It's like cursive and then also just regular. It like mixes in
with
from time to
Spanish
time.
too?
Yes, with Spanish. Sí.
Oye, ¿cómo va?
Muy bien. ¿Y tú? ¿Dónde está el baño? Because we need to take a break. We'll take a time out. That's where's the bathroom.
Ich liebe Bier.
Sure.
That's German for I love beer.
I thought it was Ich liebe Bier at Robert Brogdon.
Ich liebe
Bier at Robert Brogdon. Coming up at 1 o'clock. We'll talk with Lebo, who will be Ich liebe being at Robert Brogdon. We'll be there. We'll take a time out, come back. We will play the sound that the Philadelphia Eagles put out from the trade that took place with the Chiefs on draft day on Thursday when the Eagles jumped up to number 31. The Eagles put out the video. We don't hear Brett Veach, but we hear Howie and the room, and Nick Sirianni sitting there all pouty face and everything for some reason. So we'll play that coming up next. You can go to ESPN and check out the power rankings. Teicher being a part of it in the votes, and Chiefs coming up after the offseason and the draft. Number 1 in the ESPN power rankings. You always wonder in some of those things because there's a couple of power rankings out there, whether you care about them or not, where they're second or third, and it's like, Eagles or Ravens are up there, Bills, just depending on it. But ESPN has them at number 1, and then part of that, each team has their reporter break down the most improved position, and Adam Teicher chose wide receiver, even though they didn't bring in a free agent from another team or make a trade, and they drafted a 4th rounder in Jalen Royals. That's the position he went with from last year because of potential health of Rashee Rice and Hollywood Brown. Xavier Worthy, an offseason in the system, maybe a re-emphasizing of going down the field, and Patrick Mahomes being a little more, as Les Norman would call it, caveman dumb, of just, run the play or just swing, don't think too much. So I thought that was interesting. The Chiefs got Bossa in the 5th round because of a trade back with the Philadelphia Eagles in the 1st round. Oddly enough, both of them resulted in linebackers. The Eagles traded up to get a linebacker. The Chiefs traded back and ended up getting a linebacker later on in the draft. We had theorized and wondered, as these drafts and the 1st round goes along, that it felt like the 1st round had more pre-planning of drafts. When you get late in the 20s, it's a little more difficult. But, why would Howie trade with Veach to move up and swap when you knew that the Chiefs were not going to take that guy because you told them you were taking defense and they were willing to listen to the trade? Clearly, they weren't taking defense. Why would you do that? My theory was it was probably pick 27 or 28, and the Chiefs were taking calls, and the Eagles said, you know what? If our guy gets past 29 or 29 and 30, let's agree to the deal right now and don't take any more calls on 31. That was what I thought would be the case. Because if the Chiefs were on the clock and your guy is still there, and you've already talked about the side of the football that you're taking, don't really feel like you need to trade and swap. Well, let's take a listen to how it went down in the Philadelphia Eagles war room as their pick was getting closer and closer, and obviously Jihad Campbell was still there, who they coveted and really wanted, and needing that linebacker. They love their off-ball linebackers. They love those. They signed Zach Bond. Here's how it sounded in the Eagles war room. We don't know what Brett Veach was saying on the other end of the phone call, but we know what Howie Roseman was saying and talking with Veach and talking with the people around as they were getting closer and closer to the Chiefs' pick.
I'm going to do to Veach what he did to me.
I thought of that. And I thought they might take Connolly, so he's off the board.
Hey, how you doing? You want to flip? I'm 168. All right.
He was talking to Veach on the phone.
We may have just given them a free pick. but they're taking calls, they said. Come on, here we go, Room. Let's get a little energy. Come on. One more. One more. Just one more.
They're in. They're in.
Hey. 168, the last one. Obviously. I'm giving you a free pick. You can do whatever you want after it. I'm not trading it. So if you want to trade it, you can. And I'm telling you what side I'm picking. I don't know.
On the phone with Veach right now.
This is our first trade. Yeah, I'm going defense. I'll do 164. All right, we're good? All right, we're good. Hey, great. All right, we're on the clock. Yeah, perfect. Great.
What did we give up?
164. Look how we did that! Look how we did that! That's crazy. Whoa!
They were so excited to give up pick 164 to move up when their guy was there, and they knew. I thought this would be something beforehand. Yeah. But when they say they're in, and he talks to him and says 168, our last one, obviously.
Which, by the way,
they didn't get 168. They traded for 164.
Fleeced.
So the Chiefs wanted, not only do the Eagles know their guy's still on the board at 31, and they've already told the Chiefs what side of the football they're drafting, and the Chiefs are willing to trade out of that pick, obviously not drafting your guy. They're already on the clock. So how many phone calls are they taking?
Yeah.
They're in on this conversation, and you give up pick 164 to move up and take Campbell. Now, maybe it was worth it to them so that the Chiefs would not take phone calls from somebody else, and that was a risk worth willing to take.
Yes.
But boy, the Chiefs now got Boss at 156.
Yeah.
But they didn't have to trade up from 168 to 156. They traded up from 164 to 156. I don't know, maybe that's a point in the value chart, whatever. But I thought that was interesting, and even Howie Roseman going, we may have just given him a free pick, but hey, Veach, want to swap? Want to swap? Want to flip? Whatever he said. Want to flip?
Want to flip. One, that was fun. I like him just calling Veach, go, hey, want to flip?
Want to flip?
Like, it's like you calling your boy, like, hey.
Who is this?
You know, like, we're friends. You know, hey, you want to flip?
Is this Olbricht's son? No.
That was fun.
I'm not falling for it again, Jax.
That was cool. Again, my thought process is the Eagles had a plethora of fifth-round picks. They had so many draft picks. The odds of them making the roster were probably going to be slim anyways. So I get why he did it. It's not a great look, too, but when you say 168, obviously, okay, 164. He understood that they're probably giving the Chiefs a free draft pick. I think he got that message. He even said that. It comes down to they wanted Campbell, and they did not want the Chiefs to trade with anyone else, and someone else trades up, and they draft Campbell. So I get from the Eagles' perspective why they do it. It is a little silly that everyone's still going to sit here and go, oh, Howie Roseman, he's a genius. How did he get away with this yet again? If you're Veach, there's no reason for Veach not to make this deal. There was a lot more risk for the Eagles, again, by giving up what is probably a free pick. But I still understand where Philly is coming from in that regard of team might trade for him. You have so many fifth-round draft picks anyways. You might as well make sure you get your guy instead of having any sort of risk involved.
Let's flip it.
Like Veach and...
Yes.
Okay.
Eagles are picking 31. Random team. Ravens are picking 32. Not the Chiefs and Veach.
Okay.
Ravens are picking 32. Well, not even that because let's just do Veach. Veach is picking 32. Chiefs win against the Eagles.
Okay.
Veach calls him up, trades up. Yeah, we're getting offense. We may have just given the Eagles a free pick. Yeah, we'll give you this pick. And they go up and get Josh Simmons. And the Eagles move back and get Jihad Campbell and get an extra pick. What's the conversation around the league about how amazing Howie Roseman is as a GM that he just got a free pick by trading back and getting the guy he wanted anyway?
100%. Instead,
it's, oh my God, how smart is Howie Roseman? Good God, made sure he got his guy.
How we keep getting away with it.
How we take Jalen Reagor over Justin Jefferson.
How we go. We'll talk with Todd Levo. You heard where he's at right there, Robert Brogdon. We'll talk with him coming up an hour from now. Fact or Fiction coming up in the 1 o'clock hour as well.
Facts.
A lot of stuff to get into today.
Todd Leabu.
Todd Lebu. Tad Labu. Yeah. Robert Brogdon. Coming up tonight, Royals game number 2 in action. They are now 2.5 games back of the Detroit Tigers, who were off. The Guardians were postponed after the rain. The Royals 2.5 games back of the Central Division, but they are now a full 2 games up in the 3rd wild card spot. Tied for the 2nd wild card spot, I believe. Yes, tied for the 2nd wild card spot in the American League. Not the National League, because that would be odd if they were, but the team that everybody expected the Royals to be tied with in the 2nd wild card spot, the Sacramento A's. Detroit, Seattle, New York leading their divisions right now. The wild card, Cleveland, a game up on the Sacramento Athletics and the Kansas City Royals.
It is very funny that when you look up
2 games up on Boston and Houston and 2.5 up on Texas.
the standings of everything, it just says Athletics.
I know,
Pittsburgh Pirates, Arizona Diamondbacks,
Yeah.
Athletics.
Right.
There's no
I call them the Sacramento Athletics. Where are they playing? Sacktown.
It's the
Mama call him
Put
Clay?
the beam. Put the beam up there. Light the beam. When they win, they've won 20 times. They're 20 and 16.
the Anaheim Angels, the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim.
Right.
Yeah.
Of Orange County.
Yeah. By the way, the Royals,
Of California.
4th best ERA in all of baseball behind the Padres, Mets, Tigers, and then the Royals at 3.07. They also have tied for the most quality starts of any team in baseball with 16. That ties them with the Red Sox, Cincinnati, and Houston. I don't know what that says about Detroit. Detroit having slightly lower ERA, but 6 fewer quality starts. I don't know if the takeaway is their bullpen's just that damn good. If they're,
I think the offense is better.
Sure, but their ERA overall is slightly better than the Royals with 6 fewer quality starts. So it's the bullpen of the Tigers is that good. Should there be room for more variance later on? What's more sustainable? I would like to say the Royals are more sustainable with the way their starting pitching is. I just thought it was a little interesting of maybe that means Detroit might be coming back down to earth at some point. Very taxing on their bullpen. But again, we saw Cleveland do this last year, and Cleveland, we talked about can they make it through with the amount of bullpen innings they're pitching, and they did. It's affecting them this year, but it didn't last year.
Detroit scored 56 more runs so far this year than the Royals.
Yeah.
So they haven't had to have the high end. The Royals starting staff is 2nd in baseball in ERA, 4th in baseball in WHIP as a starting staff, and not only that, they've thrown the most innings. So it's not just that they are. Sometimes those things go hand in hand, right? Well, you've got a great ERA, you've got a great WHIP, you're probably lasting longer into games, but you might also have guys that go 5 innings as a starter. And, well, you know what? He gave up 1 run in those 5 innings, and now the bullpen's got to take over. But the most innings, and they have the 5th best batting average against. I mean, when the starters are on the mound, the opposing teams are hitting .225 this year. When the starters for the Royals are on the mound, the opposing teams are hitting .225. I mean, who on the Royals is hitting .225 right now? Let's see.
India's 230.
India's 230, but man, he's getting on base at 336, so that
it's gonna
skews it just a wee little bit. So there's not
really
really anybody that would be a great
comp for this,
because Isbell's batting 244. But even that's the comp. When the Royal starters are on the mound, every batter becomes 20 points lower, or the average batter becomes 20 points lower than what Kyle Isbell is this year in batting average. That's what the Royals starting pitchers have done. Now, the bullpen's a little bit different because you've got the entire bullpen, including Stratton and Sam Long and Zerpa at the beginning of the season, et cetera. They're actually 12th. The bullpen is in batting average against, 14th in fielding independent pitching. The bullpen is 10th in WHIP, but 4th in ERA. That includes all of those guys along the way.
Yeah.
4th in ERA. And the Royals had, where's that tweet from Nick Capel that was really good? I need to pull it up. It was the streak that the Royals were on with their bullpen and not walking anybody. I'm going to find that here. Okay, bullpen innings without a walk in Royals history. 1984, 32 innings pitched. 1984, 30 innings pitched. Pretty good bullpen. 2025, 25 and a third innings pitched. That was this year. It was active when he tweeted that out. Thanks a lot, Nick. But that first inning, it ended because Daniel Lynch walked somebody.
Yeah.
But by the way, I believe that's the only walk since, and that was on May 3rd. I mean, the bullpen yesterday went, 4 innings and allowed 3 base runners total in 4 innings without Urseg out there?
Yeah.
I mean, they didn't have to go to Urseg.
Or even Hunter Harvey, who's still been injured.
Right. They didn't have – it's a great point. Because at the beginning of the season, if you said they go 4 innings and 3 base runners, you'd be like, okay, well, Harvey, Urseg, Estevez, who pitched the 6th, and maybe there was probably a hit or a walk along the way. Because maybe Harvey and Urseg and Estevez maybe combined to give up a base runner. But no, it was Cruz and Schreiber, Lynch, and Carlos Estevez.
I've been very impressed with John Schreiber and maybe that second tier guys. I mean, the bad tier has been real bad. The bad tier of Sam Long and Chris Stratton. And I'll throw Zerpa into that equation because I think he's been pretty darn bad. I mean, that's been brutal to start the year. There's really no sugarcoating. Those 3 guys have been bad. But it's not just the Ursigs and the Estevez and, again, at the start, Hunter Harvey before injury that have been really good. Look at what John Schreiber's done. John Schreiber has been insane. John Schreiber is throwing, 94, 95 with movement. This is the best I have seen John Schreiber look. You have Steven Cruz, who was brought up, and Steven Cruz has been outstanding. We talked about it in the first segment, throwing 100 with movement. His fastball velo this year is averaging 98.1, but it hasn't just been the fastball. It's also been his slider that has been outstanding, getting a lot of chases. His chase rate is insane this year, 33.9%.
Love it.
So, again, it's not just the stars of the bullpen, if you want to say, the circle of trust. It's that next tier down of the Schreibers, the Steven Cruz, Daniel Lynch.
I mean,
and then
because the top tier, we would say, are those 3 back into the bullpen, 7, 8, 9.
You have 6 guys right now that you really – I mean, you take Harvey out because of injury. There's with Harvey, Urseg, Estevez, Lynch – Schreiber, and Steven Cruz. That's 6 guys.
I'll throw Zerpa in there, the way he's pitched lately. Last couple times out.
Better.
It's been better. Given the track record of last year, the slower start this year, and then what he's looked like the last couple times out, I would say maybe the more of the blip on the radar was the beginning of the season this year. We do have some news from down on the farm. Dylan, you want to go ahead and play the DM that I just sent you a DM if you have that. Let's go ahead and take a listen in here to news down on the farm of what happened today.
Right-hander, deep breath with 1 out. Here's the 1-0. Caglione shoots it to left field. Rosario chasing it. He looks up, and that carries into the bullpen. Jack Caglione hits his 7th home run of the season. A line drive to left off of a sinker off the plate.
So there you go. Jack Caglione hits yet another home run, his 3rd in 4 days. And this one, he hits a line drive to left field. Almost direct left field line drive that leaves the ballpark on a pitch low and away.
Yeah.
And takes it the other way. Doesn't pull it, roll over it. Just goes the other way and is so freaking strong, he just line drives it out of the park.
That thing was out. If you've not seen the
it's
video,
it's a laser.
Very quick.
It was a missile. You know what? You know what happened to that ball? It got jacked up. That ball got jacked up.
I would love to know the exit velo as well as the launch angle. That 15. That thing was just a missile. 15 is obviously a hyperbole, but that thing was
115. You mean, or 15?
No,
oh, the angle.
I mean, that thing was just.
A 15 might be right. I don't know.
That was very impressive.
Maybe not raw. I don't know. Who knows? It might be negative. I don't know. It might have bounced.
All I know is I'm ready to see that in Omaha. I have seen. Call it. I've seen enough in Double A.
I told you the date that it's going to be next Tuesday. It's going to be next Tuesday because actually, was it next Tuesday? Yeah. No. When's the homestand for Omaha? So maybe it's in a couple of weeks. Yeah, I don't want that to happen. I mean, I think he's ready right now. I think he's ready. I don't know about the Royals, but my scouting eye for, long and it's been developed over the years of watching, youth baseball. That tells me that Jack Caglione in AA is definitely ready, based on the eye of watching 7, 8, 9, and 10-year-olds play baseball. So the Storm Chasers get back, next Tuesday. So they are starting a 6-game trip to Louisville tonight. Off on the 12th, and then back home in Omaha against Columbus on the 13th. That's when he makes his Omaha debut, is the 13th. That's what I'm going with. May 13th against Columbus at home. So there you go.
I'm impatient, Jason. I want to see it now.
Yeah, I get it. I'm with you. I'm perfectly fine if they want to send him to go send him to Louisville.
Send him to KC.
Well, that's fine too. I don't think that's going to happen though.
Double it to the majors. Jump it.
Given that that's not going to happen.
Jump it.
Given that that's not going to happen, I'd be perfectly fine if he's in the lineup tomorrow morning, by the way, against the Louisville Bats for Omaha. I'd be perfectly fine with that.
Is this?
I don't think it matters if if they're at home or on the road. I'm just saying it might be more of an easier transition of, hey, this is going to be your home park for a while, so you're not going to be on the road and here for 5 or 6 days and packed up your stuff and then get back to Omaha. Now you got to find a place to live for a little bit while you're here.
Uniform only. You live in your uniform. You find a hotel.
You know what? You're going to go from Northwest Arkansas on Sunday the 11th on Mother's Day. You're going to call your family, tell them you love them, and then head to Omaha. And on Monday, get acclimated there in Omaha, figure some things out what the drive to the ballpark is going to be. And then on Tuesday the 13th, you're in right field for Omaha.
Is this the quickest you have ever wanted to see a draft pick called up? Because I'm trying to think if there was a quicker one.
Pretty much every draft pick in the mid-2000s when the Royals sucked.
Yeah, it's fair.
I know they just drafted Hosmer, but can he play right now? Because I feel like he'd be one of the better players on this team. Can Zach Greinke pitch right now in the big leagues?
They basically tried.
Because I feel like he could be on the team right now.
I know Finnegan obviously was called and pitched that same year.
Right, but that wasn't to where you're going, oh, my God, Finnegan is the difference maker.
Have him.
No, this guy is going to be, Paul Bunyan. Like, this guy is going to be somebody that just takes over the excitement around the city to watch him play. Vinny, that was happening a couple of years ago, but he had been in the system for a number of years. So to your question of like how quickly somebody was drafted, I remember that, and they're becoming a fever pitch around, man, how long is it going to take before you get Vinny up here? What more does he have to do? And that was when he was destroying AAA pitching.
True.
That wasn't just AA going how soon before he gets to AAA, and then how long at AAA before you get him up here. I mean, he was destroying AAA pitching. And by the way, if memory serves, I believe his last trip was in Louisville, and then he was brought up. So there you go. Send Jack right now to Omaha, to Louisville, and then get him right back up. Follow the Vinny path. The Vinny path to the big leagues. It's first baseman, swing from the left side of the plate. The Vinny path to the big leagues is that's what I would call it. But no, I think to answer your question,
Gordon maybe.
Probably, yeah. That
would
be one because a college bat that felt like he was ready to go right then. Because even in like spring training or minor leagues, Gordon was just freaking mashing, dude. I remember there was a minor league game that they put on TV, and he hit a low and outside pitch on a line drive that bounced at the base of the wall in left center. And I was like, good God, man. Like, this guy should be in the big leagues, right? Like,
yeah, I'm ready.
He's a freaking stud, dude. I mean, he's the next George Brett at third base. He's going to win like 7 Gold Gloves in Major League Baseball. At least at third base. So close.
What I will say and this is such a, I think, big takeaway. What's great about Caglione is he does not have to be the savior. He just has to be, the goal is just to be better than what
Gordon was going to be the savior.
Gordon was going to be the savior. That's a lot of pressure.
Yeah.
There's been a few players in Royals history that were tabbed to be the savior, and that's just too much pressure for a guy. Bobby Witt Jr. was kind of tabbed that, but it worked. And because he has broken the
the barrier of that, because you already have your face of the franchise right now with Bobby Witt Jr.
Yeah.
That makes life easier for Cags. No longer does he have to hit 3 home runs every single game. No longer
if he did that, that'd be badass.
It'd be pretty neat.
Now, I think he would break a record.
But math that, check that.
I don't have a calculator in my pocket. All right, I got to do that.
Teachers lied to you.
Long division.
But so I guess for me, that I'm more excited about Cags because I don't think he has to press too much. I know there's a lot of excitement. I know there's going to be a lot of maybe, I just don't think it's the same amount of pressure on him as there was on Bobby or Alex Gordon, which is good. I think it's a great thing to have that Bobby's already broken that and taken that and put the weight on his shoulders.
The Alex Gordon debut on opening day that, we have talked about before, walking up to the plate with bases loaded on opening day, the first inning against Curt Schilling with Gil Mesh on the mound.
Wow.
And an absolutely gorgeous sun-kissed afternoon at the ballpark. I mean, it was just as beautiful as it gets. And it was like the clouds had lifted and Gil Mesh was pitching. Gordon was there making his major league debut. This is now the turning point for this organization because the year before they had lost 100 games for the 4th time in 5 years?
Yeah.
I think that was the end of the 100-game losing streak stretch. Was that year? Was 2006? 2006. So they lost 100 in 02. 2003, they had that awesome year. 2004, they lost 104. 2005, they lost 106. 2006, they lost 100. And then in 2007, it's like, all right, here we go. This guy is making his major league debut. They just went out and paid for Gil Mesh and Alex Gordon. They're on top of Curt Schilling right away. Like, this is going to be pretty awesome. And it was a struggle because, like you said, Gordon on that day, it was the first game of him becoming the face of the franchise, the savior, the next George Brett. He plays third base. He swings the bat left-handed, like just hard-nosed, gritty player. Just baseball pulsing through his body. Like, it's just like. Everything about it was leading up to this guy being a Hall of Famer. And the Royals' next generation of baseball is going to be led by Alex Gordon batting third for the next 15 years and manning third base. And it didn't happen.
He didn't have a bad year.
But he was part of winning a World Series.
Yes.
He was a big part of winning a World Series. That draft pick mattered. I don't think they win the World Series with Upton. And it was like, wow, dude, of course, the Royals get the number 2 pick in the draft in a year where there's an obvious number 1 pick that would have been a number 1 pick in the last 3 years. All of the drafts combined, he'd still be the number 1 pick. Justin Upton is a can't-miss, unbelievable, and the Royals get the 2nd pick, of course. I don't think they win the World Series with Justin Upton if they drafted him.
Yeah, I think Gordon had a better career than Justin Upton.
Yeah, and was a better Royal.
Yeah.
And what he meant to the team overall than what I believe you would have got from Justin Upton. So thank God, again, unanswered prayers.
You know who had the highest wins above replacement for position player in
on that
07?
Team?
Yeah.
Was it Grudzalonic?
It was Mark Grudzalonic.
Boom!
Ding, ding. Age 37.
Ding, ding.
Age 37, Mark Grudzalonic.
I mean, you're not going to lose 100 games when you got De Jesus leading off.
You had,
Gruds batting second. You got Sween Dog cleaning up.
Who
you
played
got Gordon.
74 games that year, Sweeney did.
Who was at first that year?
Ross Glode.
Oh, hell yeah.
Tony Pena at shortstop.
Okay.
Emil Brown in left.
Oh, hell yeah.
De Jesus.
That's not a snack. It's an entire...
center field.
It's a meal. It's not a snack. It's a meal.
Mark Teehan. And then because of injury to Mike Sweeney, Billy Butler, age 21, got called up.
Oh, yeah.
And Billy Butler actually
played left field.
Decent year, yeah. He played mostly DH that year, but but he did start off in left field.
Which was, I don't know why he didn't stay there. He looked so smooth. It was like Alex Gordon. I see Billy Butler and I see Alex Gordon out there in left field. I pulled up the box score from that first game against the Red Sox and Curt Schilling. And the lineup, De Jesus in center field, leading off, and then Grudzalonic at second. Martian in right, batting third. Sweendog DHing, batting fourth. Gordo at third, batting fifth. Ryan Sheely at first, batting sixth, baby. Ross Glode in left. Jumbo at catcher. And Tony Pena at shortstop.
What a lineup.
And Gilmesh on the mound. 7 1/3 innings for Gilmesh. 1 earned run, 6 Ks.
Zach Greinke was a big bullpen arm that year, too, if you remember
Take that, Red Sox. That's a 7-1 winner. The Royals are back, baby. I'll bet you a whole lot of money that this team doesn't lose more than like 92 games. Damn it, they lost 93. So close. So close. But they didn't lose 100 because of Mesh and Gordo. But, yeah, you're right. I mean, when he comes up, he'll be coming up to a team that's trying to win the division, that made the playoffs, is not coming off 400-loss seasons in 5 years, and being viewed as the offensive savior because they went out and paid for Gilmesh, who was helping out the pitching staff. And they'll eventually get Greinke and all this stuff. It's going to be amazing. This is it. They're back, baby. I mean, it took 8 more years, but they won a World Series. But, yeah, this is probably it's a good one, probably since Alex Gordon. Watching Alex Gordon in the minor leagues, it's like he doesn't need much minor leagues. Like, this guy was a bat at Nebraska, and he's a bat now. You take the metal bat. Was it B-Sor then? It wasn't BB-Core at that point in Nebraska. But you take that bat out of his hands and you put a wood bat in his hands.
That was the old school days.
Yeah, not the old school in the 90s that essentially meant that.
It was damn near close.
It was close because it wasn't BB-Core. It was,
right.
Was it called the
BSR?
B-Sor.
Yep.
And so it wasn't like the unregulated bats of the 90s that were launching missiles.
You ever seen the video of Harper using one of those at Tropicana?
Oh my God, no! I want to watch it right now.
Yeah, we will.
Was he hitting 550?
You can't even see the baseball leave the camera.
Dude,
like it is.
Guarantee he's hitting 550.
Oh, for sure.
With those bats in the 90s, those were trampolines.
Yeah.
Because
they
even
boasted that it would be, you would try and find the ones and they would say trampoline technology.
Because even with the B-Sors, it's still
XO,
like
I had the XO.
Yeah. Even with the B-Sors, it's still night and day from the BB-Core. Like even those bats were stupid.
Right.
And the BB-Core obviously has taken a lot of the bounce out of it, but still better than a wood bat. And you took that bat out of Gordo's hands in Nebraska and you put a wood bat in his hands and he was still mashing in the minors. So, yeah, I'd say Jack and Alex Gordon are the ones that probably the most excited.
But you already have.
From draft pick to getting them up to the big leagues.
And, again, same thing. But at least you already have your prime Mike Sweeney on the team. Or you already have your guy who's the face of the franchise. And to an extent, you kind of still have Salvi. You know what I'm saying? Like I just love the way that the Royals and Jack Caglione, this era is playing out so far. I know we obviously have to let it play out longer, which I don't like waiting, but how it's playing out right now, they're setting up Caglione for success, which I don't know if the previous regime would have done it that way.
Mm-hmm. Was it I had to look it up, the Reflex C-Core. The Reflex C-Core in the 90s. You ask people that grew up in the 90s playing baseball, maybe high schoolers and some college guys in the 90s, Reflex C-Core was essentially the bat that ended. The bat that made them go, yeah, we got to regulate these things. The bat that was just so hot. I think it was the Reflex C-Core. It was so hot, they're like, no, we can't do it anymore. Somebody's going to get killed with the ball bouncing off these bats. There's going to be a third baseman that they will be hit. You're going to have to wear helmets in the infield or put a face mask on the pitcher because this is ridiculous. The guys are steroided up and they're hitting with these unregulated metal bats. Like, this is dumb. I think it was the Reflex C-Core from Easton that changed the game. Literally changed the game to where they said, yeah, we got to regulate these things. We got to put something in there. And that's when the B-Sor came in. And then ultimately the BB-Core. So we'll take a timeout. We'll come back. Nice trip down memory lane there for those that, see, I had the Easton, what was the nickname for the green bat? Because it was the Black Magic early, like late 80s. You had the Black Magic and then you had the Easton green that was there. Green Machine or whatever they called it. I can't remember. It wasn't like the glow stick that they called the Rawlings from like 2016 or 17. That was so hot they had to ban it in Little League.
Dylan, EXO, what did you have?
EXO.
Yeah, the EXO was.
Was that a beast or was, I mean.
Oh, yeah. That was the, I think that was the bat that they actually, looked into and were like, maybe we shouldn't use this anymore.
Yeah, was it that one?
Yeah.
What year was that, though? Because I think the late 90s is when.
2012?
Earlier than that. It was like.
So
I think it was like 2010.
So like the
I was thinking when I was a senior. That would have been 2008.
So the EXO was one that went from B-Sur to then we got to go BB Core?
I think so. I mean, it was the bat that everyone wanted to buy because it was almost pushing the limits of the trampoline.
Push it to the limit.
I still have it, by the way. I found it the other day in my basement. Yeah. I found my black and yellow, kind of Mizzou colors, EXO bat. So Jason, if Everett wants to swing an EXO bat,
what's the
illegally, of course.
Yeah. Who's say it's still illegal? I don't know what USSSA regulations are.
I am 12.
Is that a one? What's that regulation? What's the size? Is it a drop 10, drop 8, drop 5, drop 3? What is it?
File off the.
I gotta find it.
What's the drop? What's
whenever
the ratio?
I was 14.
Because right now he swings a drop 10, but he's about to go up to a drop 8.
Could be. Whenever I was 14, I'll give it to you. I'll give you a little look-see.
Yeah.
Put some duct tape over so they can't see the logo.
He's 9, so he ain't rocking a drop 5, okay, as a 10-year-old next year. But he can go to a drop 8 next year. If it's a drop 8. But as a high schooler, you weren't swinging a drop 8, though.
I don't know, probably not.
No way, dude. You weren't getting enough stick with the drop 8.
Hey, my guy will get in touch with your guy.
All right, well, maybe I'll swing it. Maybe I was like, look, son, see the power I had? You swing like this is what you're going to get. You know what I mean? Just do as I say, not as I do. Follow the. You don't need to see video of me as a little leaguer swinging. That doesn't matter. Okay? I'm showing you the correct techniques to do that. You understand if you don't get on plane, you're screwed. Okay? Enough with the damn bat drag, dude. But Dad, you said lag was good. I know. Lag is good, drag is bad. You're 9. How do you not get this concept? Drag bad, lag good. I mean,
negative reinforcement's key.
How does a 9-year-old not understand that simple concept? Drag bad, lag good. It's so, I mean, we're not waxing quantum physics here, you know what I mean? It seems like a very simple concept for people to get. More Zone next. All right, we continue right here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Jason Anderson with you. Sterling Holmes, Dylan Michaels. We will talk with Todd Lebo. He is hanging out at Robert Brogdon. Somebody sent me a video of the baseball bat bros, and I haven't seen this yet. I like their videos, by the way, but they put it. I guess it's a year ago. Battle of the Decades, and this video he has, because this dude hits some tanks, man. Like it's fun to watch him. He tests out all the new bats and everything. But Battle of the Decades, they take a bat from the 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000s, and then I guess this was a year ago, so maybe 23. And so somebody just sent me the video and said the Reflex, that's the bat he uses for the 90s, is the Reflex C-Core. He's got he's got the Green Easton. Hell yeah. He's got the Reflex C-Core. He's got the Stealth, one of the early Beeser bats, and then he's apparently he's got a couple that something called the Thumper from the 70s. Dude, these bats are the 33-31. Oh my God, 33-31. I bet you your fingers break when you connect with that thing. Any chance you could swing that bat right now and your fingers wouldn't immediately break from the vibration? You would not want to swing that bat twice, right? Oh, my God, that would be awful. But, yeah, so somebody sent me that and said he's using the Reflex C-Core for the 90s era. Yeah, that thing was – I want to see Jack swing with one of those. Put Jack Caglione out there with a late 90s Reflex C-Core that made college baseball say no more.
Let's go Ohtani versus Skeens for charity. Over the winter.
Oh, yeah. But here's the thing.
With all the illegal bats.
As long as he pitches.
And spider tack.
Yeah,
hey, I agree.
But here's the thing. He has to pitch behind an L screen, though.
Oh, for sure. No. For safety.
Because I don't want Ohtani hitting a reflex back at Skeens and us talking about Livy Dunn at the funeral.
Right.
You know, like, I don't think that. We don't need that.
But to Sterling's point, also he is allowed to use spider tack.
Yes.
So it's equal.
Let's do it, man. Let's get this matchup.
I'm still always perplexed that spider tack has not really been a thing anymore. Like, remember how big of a deal that was for how long?
They figured something.
They had to have figured.
Oh, for sure.
The pitcher stopped complaining.
We had no idea what spider tack was until it came out.
Until it came right.
Until someone got caught with it. So it's,
and then everyone was using spider tack. Garrett Cole, it took him like 2 years to adjust.
Because then everyone caught everyone and they knew what they were looking for.
Yeah. But also they were trying to bring more offense into the game. So it's okay, so you were able to shift. You were using spider tack. They tried to juice the balls up. Remember, it was like, okay, these baseballs are going to be hotter.
I hated that.
Because they were looking for offense. And apparently what they needed to help look for offense was stop the shift to a degree, and then don't let the pitchers use the sticky stuff.
What year was that? 2019 when the ball was juiced? When was like
2018?
Yonder Alonso hit like 40 home runs.
Yeah, 2018 or 2019 is when that thing took off. But then it was only for like a year, though, right?
Yeah.
You know?
Let me look it up. It was when Yonder Alonso got paid a huge contract. 2017, maybe.
Yeah.
He hit 20. He went from 7 home runs to 28 home runs to 23 home runs and then 10 home runs.
Oh my God. Yeah, that's
18, 17, 18.
Little different.
Little different.
Just a wee bit little different there.
He went from 7 to 28 home runs and fewer at bats.
Yeah. No, it was so I guess it would probably be 2019. It had to be 2019 because I'm looking at the runs per year, average runs per game for each individual team. And 2018 was 4.45. 2019 jumped up to 4.8. This year right now is 4.34. So
what was it in 17?
2007. So it was 2016 was, well, I'll just go back to 2013 was 4.17. 14 was 4.07.
Wow.
15 was 4.25. 16 4.48. 17 4.65.
Yeah.
18 4.45. 19, 4.83. 2020, 4.65. And then 4.53, 4.28. 23 was 4.6. Last year, 4.39. And this year, 4.34. So, yeah, 2019 must have been the year where the balls were juiced. Because, I mean, it's a half run more per team. Per team over the course of, so it was 1 run more over the course of an entire season per game. Because now if I look at, so last year, Major League Baseball total 21,343 runs scored. 2019 had 23,500. So they had 2,200 more runs scored in 2019 than they did last year.
Yeah, it was 2017 and 19, those 3 years, but the 19 in particular. It's 17, 18, 19, with 19 being the year biggest culprit.
The year that they were like, no more.
Yeah,
we got to do something
year, yeah.
because everything is leaving the yard now.
So it started in 2017, 18, and then, yeah.
I like this. Is a fun trip down memory lane. I like this, man. 913-912-4810 is the text line to join us. 913-912-4810. It's not what I had planned on talking about here for the segment, but I don't know about you guys, but I'm having a blast talking about this.
Wow, they're talking about how
but
when AAA pitchers came up, Emilio Pagan came up and goes, he went from AAA to the majors, and he goes, why is the ball flying so much farther? He's a pitcher, and they're like, yeah,
because
a little different.
They want offense, man. The chicks dig the long ball. That's what happens, man. 913-912-4810 is the text
line. The commissioner's a buffoon, so there's also
you want him working at Denny's.
Well, just a hunk of metal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why are you complaining? It's a hunk of metal.
It's a hunk of burning metal.
Golden at bat, you know.
That's right. The golden
that was the reason why he,
Yeah, that's right. 46 Major League Baseball experts were asked who the MVP is so far this year. MLB.com put this out this morning. 46 Major League Baseball experts weighing in on who the American League MVP is right now. And you could vote for the top 3.
Okay, yeah. Because one has to be Judge.
All 46 first-place votes went to Aaron Judge.
If you've not seen what he's done this year, it is beyond historic. It's starting to get to Barry Bonds level absurdities.
But second by a margin was Bobby.
Yeah.
So that was, I mean, he's got no first-place votes. National League first-place votes was split between Fernando Tatis, Pete Alonso, Austin Riley, a couple of other guys. But in the American League, it was 46 for 46 being Aaron Judge.
Yeah, not surprised. I mean, he's been It's been dumb how good. I mean, and then you couple that with the ballpark, which I'm not saying the ballpark's the reason why he's doing that, but just the marriage of Aaron Judge in New York with the sandbox. It is just it's perfection for him
because he just generates so much power. I mean, it's fun to watch him.
There's no he's like. But the average is so high, which is what makes it so impressive to me. Is he's not just a power hitter with batting 270, which would also be impressive.
It's funny because number 3 in the American League is a guy that we talked a lot about yesterday because we were comparing
Maikel Garcia.
No, it's not Maikel Garcia. But honestly, though, name recognition.
Is it Bregman?
Yeah. But here's the thing, though. Bregman is 3rd. Cal Raleigh is 4th for the Mariners catcher. 5th, Jose Ramirez. Others receiving votes. Garcia didn't get a vote. But we just talked about third baseman in Major League Baseball, what Maikel Garcia is doing and what Alex Bregman is doing, along with the defense. Bregman is 3rd in early poll of MVP. Garcia, no votes. Well, I think it's kind of interesting. I haven't even pulled up what Bregman's B-WAR is.
All I know is we're gonna look back on this 4-year stretch of Aaron Judge and just be mind blown. I mean, it's mind blowing.
Bregman's got a 2.1 this year. I guarantee Maikel Garcia does not have a 2.1. 1.4. So I mean, he's close. He's right there. I mean, it's not right there. It's 0.7. That's not right there. But he also doesn't have like a 0.2.
No,
you know what I mean? Like, so what's Bobby at?
I saw it was
2.2.
Yeah, 2.2.
Bobby's at 2.2.
I saw Judge at 3, I think is what I saw.
Yeah, that makes sense. I'm not even saying. I'm just looking
slashing 414, 503,
I mean, just
759. OPS in almost 1,300. OPS plus of 257.
It's absurd. There's a lot of dark numbers on his baseball reference page. It's a lot of dark numbers.
Man.
The WAR, the runs, the hits, the RBIs, the batting average, on base, slug, OPS, OPS plus, the total bases, intentional walks. He's leading the majors and all of those things. Yeah. He's having a good year, I would say. He's probably going to be the 3-time MVP and back-to-back MVP at the end of this season. And we're going to be talking about Bobby Witt, like Joe Burrow, and a couple of these other quarterbacks in being in a league with Patrick, Lamar, and Josh Allen, and Bobby having to go up in the American League against Aaron Judge, both in their prime. Yeah. And that's going to be unfortunate, because if he finishes second again this year, you're like, okay, well, he could be back-to-back MVP. But he's not, because Aaron Judge is unreal what he's doing. We'll take a timeout, come back, continue rolling, wrap up this hour. We will hang out with Todd Lebo. He is at Robert Brogdon. We got Fact or Fiction coming up before the show is over as well. More Zone right after this. All right, wrapping up this hour, you heard Todd Lebo there at Robert Brogdon. We will head there and hang out with Todd Lebo, or he'll be there and hang out with us. I mean, you can head there and hang out with him.
I just want to hear from Lebo.
Just like Leebs. We'll talk with Todd in the 1 o'clock hour. We'll play some fact, or we will play some fiction.
It's both.
Okay. Why do we call it or? Why isn't it
fact and fiction?
Why isn't it fact and fiction?
Or leisure.
So right.
We call it sports or leisure, and it's sports and leisure, so we should call this fact and fiction.
I know. That's what I'm saying. Like, you guys want to get all over my case because I call it sports or leisure. Like, you got to do both. Blah, blah, blah. And that's fact or fiction. We have fact and fictions in there, unless your answers are only fact or fiction. You know, but only one side. I don't know. I've gone cross-eyed.
great partner of ours at Sports Radio 810 for a long time. Over 200 new GMCs out here, 150 new Buick models on the lot. They're ready to make deals. So it's going to be a nice weekend. You know, it's Mother's Day coming up.
Hey,
get Mom a car.
What car was that, Lebo, that you were driving last time I saw you? That thing was nice.
The Buick Envision.
Yeah, that thing was nice. Lebo gave me a ride.
Nice.
I've been in Lebo's car.
Nice. Okay. Bragger.
It was nice. No, that thing was fancy.
Gave you a what?
He gave me a ride.
In his car.
What did I say?
You said exactly what you said.
He gave me a ride.
In his car. That's exactly right.
In the Envision.
What?
Yes, it's a nice car.
And I envision myself looking good in that car. I don't know what you're making fun of me for, Dylan.
Envision Quest is what we're on, Sterling and I. You don't know Vision Quest, that movie, though.
No, I don't. Fiction. That's a fiction.
Nice. Okay. Well done. Yes, we'll get to that. I think we will.
Coming of age movie back in the day. You
Yeah.
know? Young Matthew Modine, wrestling movie. Who wasn't making high school wrestling movies back in the day with Journey songs on soundtracks?
Everybody. You had a montage.
They play Stone in Love.
Have a montage.
They better play Stone in Love.
It was what was the song? It was not a great Journey song, but that song, you know, the song "Lunatic Fringe" had a big part in that movie by Red Ryder. So you should watch that. I think you'll enjoy that movie.
Okay.
You should.
Yeah.
I should. I've never even heard of this film.
You should check it out. You know.
Fact.
Should do that. Todd Lebo is hanging out with us here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Todd, this was actually something I was going to talk about in the noon hour, but we stumbled on a conversation about 90s bats, and somehow that became a conversation, which I'm perfectly fine with because it was very nostalgic. And we went through sort of like I had the Green Easton, iconic,
right?
Or the Black Magic at the time in the 80s and early 90s, and then we talked about those the bat that I believe ruined or at least changed the game specifically with the Easton Reflex C-Core that college baseball was like, yeah, somebody's going to die. If
too much.
We've got to bring up the B-Sur era, which still was pretty hot, and that's what Sterling and Dylan, that's what they played in, was the B-Sur era.
They're younger.
Not the BB core that we're looking at right now, which are almost wood bats there. So somehow we stumbled onto that, and I do wonder if we take that Easton Reflex C-Core from like 97, 98 and put it in Jack Caglianone's hands, like how far does he hit a baseball?
Ooh. There's a guy who I see on TikTok. I think he's called the batting practice guy or the BP guy, and he gets some of these old bats.
It's Baseball
He's a
Bat
really
Bros.
Good baseball player.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh, and they're like at Petco Park, and just insane launch angles and velos coming off. And this is, listen, but that's not Jack Caglianone. Right. So if you put one of these, you're talking about like 126 miles an hour or something coming off and hitting it 580 feet or something.
I mean, honestly,
I'd like to watch it.
I think 550 might be how far with one of those trampoline
the over
bats.
Under 549.5.
With the trampoline bat of the late 90s in Jack Caglianone's hands, I would take 550.
I'd go under.
Yeah.
I think I would.
I think 520 might be the max.
Because Dylan
in the 1987 Major League Baseball.
No, the 2019 baseball.
Yeah, the juiced one.
2019 baseball that all the home runs were leaving the park.
90s drug test.
And the 90s drug test.
Okay, over. I'm
600 feet.
600 feet. Because Dylan sent me a video, Todd, of Bryce Harper in high school at Tropicana hitting with a B-Sur bat and hit one 502 as a high schooler with a B-Sur bat. Not the
like
Jack Caglianone and the 90s
and not
bats.
an 18-year-old. Remember, he skipped his senior year of high school, so he's 17 in these.
Yeah, so
videos. It's insane.
And he's a big kid, but he's not. I mean,
he was 6'3" at the time.
Yeah, he's not 6'5", 250.
Yeah, I mean, if Jack is
Never
hitting
will
a
be.
wood bat 460, 470, then I think that trampoline in the 90s. Now, everybody on the field would have to have L screens, double enforced L screens.
Yeah, it's just a TikTok, man. You just put a TikTok. That's all
that
it is.
That would be fun. Just have them in batting practice one or two, just one time, like just to see what it would look like in batting practice.
But don't mess the swing up. Don't mess up that glorious swing.
Well, Bobby took off after the home run derby, so I don't know. So maybe there should be more home run derbies for Royals players. I don't know. But this is what I was going to bring up with you, Todd. Is it disrespectful for Abdul Carter to ask for Lawrence Taylor's number, or is it respectful that he's actually asking him before requesting number 56? I know my answer, but Todd, I'm just wondering. Dylan is very enthusiastic about this, by the way.
Can you guess which side I'm on?
Dylan.
I'll say this. Here's the word I'll use: misguided.
I like that word.
I don't know if it's disrespectful or not. I think it's misguided and foolish.
It's almost so misguided it's disrespectful.
Yeah, it's
right.
To me, it's putting a target on your back that, like, okay, so you think you are as good as Lawrence Taylor, like, so you think you want to get 56 out of retirement to where, because would he want 56 if he was on a different team? He wore 11.
Probably not. No. Yeah.
So does he want 56 because he's going to the Giants and he thinks he's going to be Lawrence Taylor?
To me, the team is the one that has the biggest issue with, too. The team should just right away say, no, the number's retired. Do you know what the number being retired means? It means you can't have it. I don't care who you are. You can't have it. The number's retired. It's the whole point of retiring the number. Then don't retire the number if someone else can use it.
Lawrence Taylor didn't even want that number. He was 98, but then they changed it to where the linebackers could only be 50s, and so then he was 56.
Then it turns into a number like, Matt Derrick asked, I think, every one of the rookies at rookie minicamp about his number, and not many of them had. It's just what was available, or I wore this.
Bossa had the cool story of 31.
Yeah, he had the story because
Kyrie Jackson.
Jackson was the kid who died in the car crash at Minnesota. They were college teammates, and that's what he wore, so he liked that. But then he also said, I got 3 sisters, and there's one of me, so it's 31 that way, So people come up with whatever reason there is, but like
31 is the mic.
Listen, if you wanted to be 56 your whole life, you should have wanted at Penn State. But 11's a big number at Penn State. That was LeVar Arrington. I think Micah Parsons wore it at Penn State.
Micah Parsons was 11 at Penn State. Yep.
So I mean,
it's like the 44s at Syracuse.
Yeah, Penn State. I'm guessing. I'll look it up. I don't know if Penn State's ever retired a number. A lot of colleges don't. I mean, Oklahoma's never retired a number because you can't retire the numbers because who will play football? You have to. There's only 99 digits, and you have 100 guys every year. Eventually, you have to play.
Well, number 2 is retired at Colorado, though, right?
Which ridiculous.
Yeah, so you can't be number 2 at Colorado. So
I think every fifth rounder
Penn
gets
State, by the way.
One number is retired.
What's the number?
For John Cappelletti.
John Cappelletti,
Heisman Trophy winner.
Yeah.
Every fifth rounder gets a number retired, though, apparently.
Which makes sense why Colorado retired Travis Hunter's number, Heisman Trophy winner.
I was about to say,
well, but see, if you did that at Oklahoma, you'd run out of numbers.
Oh, badass. Nice job. Nice job, Todd. That was, you just laid it on the table right there. If you're at Robert Brogdon, please don't have your kids go to Robert Brogdon right now because it's X-rated there in the showroom.
It's on the table. I mean, you got Baker, you got Kyler, you got Jason White, you got Sammy Bradford, you got Bill Sims, Billy Vessels, Steve Davis. I mean, there's too many. What are you going to do?
You can't have anybody wear the numbers at that point. Everybody's got to wear duplicates.
You got a damn Heisman garden out there, okay? I mean, it's a statuary.
They build Heismans. They grow Heismans. Heismans grow on trees there.
They do. They're all out on the east side of the stadium. They have these huge statues all around the
Is it next to the third base tree, or?
Yes.
Their third base tree is around the corner.
Okay.
That's an Omaha.
The Royals grew a third baseman on the third base tree. It's Michael Garcia. They grew that guy.
It only took a few years in between.
That's exactly
right. Well, it's water and love.
Watered him, loved him, fertilized there because there was a lot of poop on the ground last year with his batting. And so, but
I was looking these numbers up. The Giants, I think, have retired more numbers than anyone.
Oh, really?
So they've got a problem.
They've been around a long time, too. Like, they were one of the original football teams.
But also, it's like...
And you know what? Honestly, the Chiefs have retired too many numbers as well. They have. There's a whole bunch of Chiefs numbers that are retired.
Well, I mean...
most people don't know who they are because it was like, Stone Gossard.
Well,
they've got Stone Gossard. What's Stone Johnson? Stone Gossard's the Pearl Jam guitarist.
Right.
He did not get his number retired by the Chiefs. But
Stone wasn't Stone retired because he died?
Yes.
Like I think the Chiefs have 3 or I think it's 3 if I'm guessing 3 numbers that are retired based on a player dying while playing.
But it doesn't matter. Yeah, but it doesn't matter why they are. They're just gone though.
Yeah.
So
But like I'd be pretty. I think I would expect somebody to be offended if Josh Simmons was like, yeah, I'm going to reach out to Bobby Bell. I want to wear number 78. I'm like, no, you can wear another number. You don't need to wear 78 for Bobby Bell. Like I don't think Noel Williams needs to reach out to Emmett Thomas to wear 18.
Here's the right way to do it. You want to know the right way to do it? In 1993, the Chiefs made a trade for a player. Okay, his name was Joe Montana. He had won 4 Super Bowls in the National Football League, wearing number 16, and he changed his number when he came to Kansas City. He didn't ask Lynn Dawson, "Can I have your number?" Okay, because you respect.
And I think that was the point that Montana said was like, I'm not going to ask him to wear 16, and Lynn Dawson wore 16. It's jersey retired. I'll wear a different number.
Someone made a good point.
Abdul Carter's a really good player. He was drafted. Listen, Joe Montana wasn't even drafted in the first round. Okay, who is this chump, right?
Right.
But this was as accomplished as you can get in the entire National Football League, and even he didn't say, "Can I wear someone's number?"
This is for like their families too, like when they're gone, like they can go to the stadium, not only see their name in the Ring of Honor, but it's also like a celebration of their jersey and their time with the team.
Well,
so
isn't that what Boomer said?
Yeah, that's Boomer's family were the one that turned him down.
Because Boomer said he could have 11.
My bad, not Boomer.
Sims.
Phil.
Phil Sims. Yeah, Boomer. Jesus.
The Sims family was the one that turned because it's like when he's gone and they want to go to Giants games, they want to do things with the Giants. That's a massive part of it.
But it was kind of cool that Phil Sims was like, well, he wore 11. If he wants to wear 11, he can wear 11. Just do it right, and then he said, well, I have to take it back. The family outvoted me, so we will not be unretiring number 11. So, and
jersey sales.
But it's a good point because Phil Sims was like, yeah, it's a number, he can wear it. And the family was like, no, it means something to us.
Like think about this.
That
Colts,
jersey's retired. The Sims name and that jersey forever. Nobody as a Giant will ever wear that again.
The Colts didn't retire John Mackey's number in time, so now they have two 88s. They have John Mackey and Marvin Harrison in their history, so they cannot retire it at all. So you're actually better off doing it as soon as you possibly can.
I think it's better that Lawrence, like for the Chiefs, there would be a big offense if you said, I want to wear number 58. At least Lawrence Taylor is alive to say, well, I'm going to reach out to him and see. Like DT's, that would be like if anybody was drafted by the Chiefs and say, well, I'm going to ask the Chiefs if I can wear number 58. You know what? I want to ask the Chiefs why they drafted you now.
Von Miller goes on any podcast and will say the reason why he wears 58 is for Derek Thomas. So if he were to come here, I can guarantee you he would not ask
going to ask
for
to
that
wear
number.
58.
He'd wear 85 first.
Yeah, that's true. Although Mark Bowrichter, he would have to ask him first.
Yeah, that's true.
If he can wear number 85.
I don't think that's retired. But, the Chiefs didn't retire some of these kind of quick enough either. I said they have too many retired because 3 of them were because people died. But, they didn't retire Willie Lanier till later. Like Bill Moss wore 63.
Yeah, 63, yeah.
And 86, Buck Buchanan didn't retire until later. There were several guys who wore 86 after that. So, listen, I don't know if there's a right way or wrong way to do
Jalen Royals
things,
ain't asking to wear number 86.
A wrong way to do it is to say to Lawrence Taylor, can I wear your 56? That's the wrong
it also
way.
puts him on the spot. It makes him look like a I hate that. The team should just away say no.
The team should say no. You're not wearing these numbers.
Retired.
You can have some of these are the numbers you can have. No other number is available. What about 56? I'll reach out to Lawrence Taylor.
I'm not
you
even
are
sure
not going to reach
how this
out.
whole thing happened. Did he tweet it, post it, or did he talk about it? I don't know if he asked the team first or just went to the internet. You know what I mean? So that's what I don't know. So I'm not going to pass too much judgment on that side of it. But I'll tell you this, dude better be good.
Right.
With all the fuss we're talking about what number he's wearing, he better be good.
Yep. Phil Sims was like, yeah, he can have it, but got outvoted. I think he joked about it on X after Phil Sims said, I've been outvoted. He said, damn, at this point, I'm just going to be out there with my last name on my jersey, no number. Well, you'll find a number. I think.
Pick a number.
I think they'll have a number for you for that. But yeah, I don't know. There's a part of it to where it's like disrespectful to me would be like, no, I want to wear number 56 and I haven't reached out to him yet. Or, well, I'm going to reach out to him and say, hey, man, I want to carry on your legacy. Can I wear 56? No? All right, cool, man. I just wanted to reach out because, hey, you're my favorite player of all. You're a legend, and it would be an honor to wear this. No? All good, man. I'll wear 57 or 55 or whatever. I don't know. I think there's an element of like you can show or try to pay homage and say, no, I'm doing this out of a level of like total respect, while Todd, you're saying misguided, I think is an interesting way of putting it. If it was approached that way of like, no, I want to carry on the legacy of Lawrence Taylor, greatest that ever did it, and I want to be that guy and have to hold myself to that standard. He said, no, all good, man. I'll find another number. But misguided to like, you get to the Giants, just find a different number, man. So
yeah. It seems
I like that word.
Pretty simple. Now, listen, the Giants have, like I said, they have too many guys retired numbers, but they're not all linebacker numbers. Of course, there are no linebacker numbers anymore. I mean, there still are.
True.
But, you can wear lower numbers. It's not any number now, but they're way less restrictive of what you can wear. So, there's plenty of numbers out there to choose. And if you're a rookie, you haven't done anything in the National Football League. That's why I say, listen, Joe Montana didn't come in here jumping around saying, let me have 16.
Yeah.
And Joe Montana did a lot more in his career at that point than Abdul Carter has ever done.
So here's the story that I pulled up. Lawrence Taylor told ESPN he and Abdul Carter spoke Saturday morning, 2 days after Carter was the 3rd overall pick in the NFL draft. It came after Carter reached out through intermediaries about potentially wearing Taylor's retired number. Lawrence Taylor respectfully declined through the intermediaries. Taylor's longtime agent Mark Lepselter and Carter's agent Drew Rosenhaus then arranged a phone call. Taylor wanted to show he was supportive of the newest Giants pass rusher, but wanted him to make his own mark. And he said he's got to be the player that he is. He can't be another Lawrence Taylor. He said, well, he may be better than Lawrence Taylor. Who knows? But he has to make his own mark. That's up to him. And he goes, I'm hoping.
Chance of that.
Yeah. And he goes, and I'm hoping that he's not thinking that, I got shot down by LT. He said, no, it's not like that. It's, hey, I'm with you. I'm the guy that it takes to. I'm going to be 2 steps behind you and make sure that you don't fall. So there you go. So it sounded like LT was like, all good. And then Abdul Carter said, the worst thing he could say was no. My stance don't change. LT's the GOAT, nothing but respect. This is going to make me work even harder. I love it. Abdul Carter.
It's an imposition, really. It's like, hey, like I'm in a spot where I look like.
Makes it tough to where he's like, I want to be your own guy. But
he had to come out after and be like, well, I'm not being rude. It's like, no, you're not being rude. You're just saying no to an imposition.
Because I think there are only 2 players for the Chiefs that are still alive, right? It'd be Bobby Bell and Emmett Thomas are the only retired numbers that are still living. So,
no, Jan Stenerud's alive.
Oh, yeah. I forgot Jan Stenerud's 3 was retired. My bad. So, 3 is
Why do you
also
hate
retired.
Kickers?
It's funny, too. Like, one of the Giants' retired numbers is Michael Strahan, who didn't ask for Lawrence Taylor's number. He was a defensive end, high draft pick, ended up being a Super Bowl champion, just made his own way.
It's interesting. Todd Lebo is our guest.
Maybe Abdul Carter wants to host GMA next. The Pyramid, just take one of Michael Strahan's jobs.
He's got to reach out through intermediaries.
Not a bad show, though.
That's not. Michael Strahan has made one heck of a career post-football. Way more than I thought he would. I did not look at Michael Strahan and say, game show host, GMA.
Jobs,
and he's good. He's good at what he does,
Fox,
too. He's very comfortable. Very comfortable in front of the camera, too.
When does Tony G get his own game show?
I don't know.
When he wins in New York,
he's not as personable as
that helps when you're in New York. And
yeah, exactly. He's not as personal as Strahan. Strahan's got a great personality. And I didn't. It's funny when you grow up and watch the guys playing in the era that they did without Twitter and all the access that we have now. Like, I didn't know Strahan had that fun of a personality. Maybe the New York media did, but I had no idea. No idea. I'm looking forward to getting to know Ashton Gelati and Bassa. And these guys that we heard talk over the weekend. Gelati sounds like he's going to be a lot of fun. Also, if he's as good of a football player as it seems he is a person, Todd, I think the Chiefs might have something in Ashton Gelati.
For sure.
I mean, the guy donated almost all of his NIL money to veterans and homelessness. Okay.
Pretty nice, huh?
It's a pretty good dude, man. And then said, I'm looking forward to being able to get involved in the community here in Kansas City. Like one of the first things he said. It's pretty awesome. Pretty cool to hear from that and hear some of the players over the weekend. I don't know how much we glean from that other than the Chiefs have now signed 2 players that were invited to minicamp. The safety from the D2 school and the wide receiver that they signed yesterday or today, Holiday, whatever his name is, Jimmy Holiday maybe. So 2 guys that got invited to camp, Todd, for the rookie minicamp that they weren't signed as priority free agents. Got themselves a job by coming and working
out. Get yourself for a couple of months.
Yeah, right.
Something to do.
Yep.
Get yourself a one-way ticket to a dorm room in St. Joseph.
Yeah, and see how long you'll be there, and maybe you can make some headway and stuff like that. So
it's a foot in the door, man.
That's right. That's all you need sometimes. We'll take a timeout. We'll come back. Todd has both feet in the door at Robert Brogdon, and they've got some cool things going on with Mother's Day coming up this week. We'll hear more about that on the other side of the break and play some Fact or Fiction. More Zone coming up next. velocity close to 150. Another tweet, one rotation around the Earth. Another tweet, the moon over I-70, not hyperbole. Yes, it's. I think the 600 feet might be the case. Oh, and Todd, we do have news out of Northwest Arkansas and the Naturals. You know, earlier today, about an hour ago, we played Jack Caglione hitting a home run, his 7th of the season, to left field, and this is now different sound in the last 10 minutes. Let's take a listen, everybody.
Sent to left field again. Looping towards the wall on the warning track. It's gone. Jack Caglione, 2-home run game, and the Naturals have their first lead of the night.
So, Todd, he now has 2 home runs today. That would be his 7th and 8th home run. By the way, both to left field. So he's been pulling everything, center field, right field, both to left field. One, a missile. The other one, as he said, a looper, just looping to left field and goes over the fencing that they set up in the outfield. So
I can't wait for him.
So you're telling me this guy can't even catch up to anything?
Right, he's behind everything. Like bat speed is really a problem for him. So it's
I don't know what they're going to do with him right away, but it's time to go to Omaha.
It's Omaha. I mean. He probably needs to just go straight to Omaha. Is in Louisville, so is Northwest home? I don't know if they're home. They're wearing white jerseys, so I'm going to guess they're home. So then just take the trip from Arkansas to Louisville and join Omaha there tonight.
The Rexgasms are going to be electric. Whenever he hits the ball, well, that's got to go.
Hey. Baseball, you got to go. Yes, it's going to be quite the scene. But, yeah, I think it's time. It's time. It's time, young man.
Go somewhere.
It's time to take your Northwest Naturals jersey off and go to Omaha. It's what Dick Vermeil said to Jack Caglione. People don't remember that back in the early 2000s. Let's play some Fact or Fiction. But first, let's hear about Todd. You're over at Robert Bogdan. What's going on?
Yeah, we're just out here having fun today. It's one of our great partners for years. They've been here for over 30 years right here in Kansas City, and it's the #1 GMC dealer in Kansas and in Kansas City. And they've got a lot of vehicles here, 200 GMCs, 150 Buicks on the lot right now. They've always got their 30-day money-back guarantee, and they're ready to deal right now. And an important fact, everything that's on the lot already, no one really knows exactly how the tariffs are going to affect all kinds of cars, but anything that's already on the lot, no effect at all. So if you're worried about anything like that, go ahead and make your purchase now. They've got great financing specials right now and big discounts on GMC 1500s and Encore GXs. They're just great people. I-35 in Santa Fe. Swing by here. They'd love to see you this week.
All right, there we go. Let's do some Fact or Fiction. Since Todd is on the road right now, let's start with him. Since he's out on location, it'd probably be easier just to start with Todd today. And then we'll maybe go Dylan next. And then I'll
switch it up.
I'll go
last. Yeah.
I'll go third.
Yeah, let's switch it up.
That's fine.
It's always fun doing that.
So we'll start with Todd.
Lebo. I still think playing Massey nearly every day makes sense.
Fact.
Fact.
I'm going to say fact for now, but it'll soon be a fiction if other people start performing and they need to find a spot for somebody.
Fiction.
Oh, wow.
I think he just looks lost.
Wow.
I just think he looks so lost that it's doing
he hit
more
a home
harm
run on Sunday.
Yeah. It's doing way more harm than good at this point. I think Massey needs to.
It's a good call. Luke Maley did. Massey did. India did. They all have 1 home run on the season.
Here's a fun fact. Luke Maley has as many home runs as Michael Massey this year and as many walks as Kyle Isabel.
Oh, wow. Nice.
All happened in one game.
That's pretty good.
So, fun fact for you guys.
He should play center field.
I'll be your center field.
And second base.
And second base.
There you go.
Dylan.
Dylan.
Steven Cruz deserves to stay up, and
Steven.
I trust him in semi-high leverage roles.
Fact.
I'm going to say fact. I think you're getting excited for Steven Cruz. Cruz missile.
I want to say fiction so bad. Fact.
It's a fact.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
Well, I said semi-high leverage, like not 8th or 9th, but you put 7th inning. I'm now content with Steven Cruz. That 100-mile-an-hour plays because it got a little break to it, a little movement, but that slider's been real good this year. I think it's enough of a sample size. I don't know if he's ever going to be like Lucas Erceg or something like, but like, can he be a 2.5 ERA guy in the bullpen? Yeah.
Sign me up, baby.
Okay. Yeah, I would definitely sign up for that. If that's what Cruz gave you.
Jason.
I'll go first on this one. How about it?
Drew Waters ends the year with an OPS plus above 100.
Oh, it's like OPS plus. Like OPS above 100, yes. Above 1,000, no. OPS plus above 100, I'm going to go yes. He's,
what's he right now?
We're playing yes or no?
115, fact. I'm going to go more likely than
I
not.
got fact.
Yeah,
fact.
He's at 115.
I think he's going to be a better than average player this year.
Yep.
Fact.
It's a fact. I maybe should have said 105. I feel like it's going to come down to earth a little bit, but as long as he can hover around 100 OPS plus, which is a league average hitter, that coupled with his base running and defense makes him, again, very useful for this Royals team, especially with the contract that he's on. So,
for sure.
Yeah, I'm all in on Drew. We will go with Lebo this time. Lebo.
Yes.
We will see MJ Melendez back in the majors at some point this year.
They don't call up everybody anymore, right? I'm going to fiction.
Yeah, I'll go fiction as well.
I think I'm going fiction.
You guys are all lockstep. It is fiction.
Nice.
We will not see MJ Melendez back in the majors this year. I feel bad for him, but I think
Call
it's
him
done.
up to the Savannah Bananas, maybe.
Well, no, because he needs to strike out against them. Come on.
Yeah. No, he's going to kill it.
He's not hitting that.
He's going to kill it in Japan. He's going to be a freaking star.
No, he's not.
Like
Japan's good at baseball.
Japan. He's going to be a star in Japan.
Don't feel sorry for him, man. He got 3 basic full years in the majors, and then a good cup of tea this year.
He got way more opportunities than other teams would give him based on opportunity to play.
He can join my softball team. We'll allow that.
Yeah,
we'll allow that.
3-3-3, all tied. Actually,
his next chapter.
Really tied.
Dylan.
We'll go Dylan now.
Yeah, let's do Dylan first.
Denver now up 1-0. I've changed. I think they're going to move past the Thunder.
Oh, wow. Okay. What's the question? Oh, is that it?
Yeah. What do you think I was asking?
Well, I remember
you're saying they're up 1-0.
Oh,
you're
okay.
saying they're going to win the series.
Yes, correct.
I'm with Dylan. I thought a question was coming. I thought that was the prelude
because
to
in the
asking
previous
a
Fact
question.
or Fictions, I was dumb for thinking the Thunder weren't going straight to the finals.
That's my point. So Denver now up 1-0. I believe they will move past the Thunder and win this series. Yeah, I thought.
I'll go fiction playing Cards Against Humanity, but it's a fact that they're going to move on.
Yeah, I'm going to go fiction.
So what's your answer?
Dylan.
Fiction. My bad.
Okay, it's fiction.
Yeah,
Thunder's still going to win this.
Yeah, Thunder's still going to win. It's fiction.
Yeah.
Yeah, Thunder's still going to
You
win.
nervous though? Are we nervous?
No.
Okay.
No. Why would I be nervous?
Hey,
Because
it's my
one
nuts.
team just
they had
played.
a- 'cause they had
and my Thunder.
Yeah, one team played Game 7 the other night. The other team had a week of rest, and the team that played Game 7.
Nikolai,
won
you had to have 42 and 22 from Nikolai Jokic, and Aaron Gordon had to hit a game-winning three. Come on.
Murray
not
stunk,
not
so.
only a game-winning three, but you got to steal one every once in a while. And
They
trailing,
stole one.
Trailing by 13 with like 4.5 to play is kind of stealing one.
After
They
playing
stole
2
one.
nights ago.
Yeah, so I mean,
No,
they're
they're good. Denver's a good team.
Yeah.
Denver. I'm not.
Hey, how about the road teams? Won all the game 1 so
Yeah,
far?
right.
Right? Oof.
Yep, we'll see.
Stealing them.
It helps when Tatum misses, 14 threes.
The Earth.
Yes, that's right. No, that's Jaylen Brown. His shot was flat, so was the earth. All right, we'll start with me. It's 4-4-4, all tied.
James Anderson.
James Anderson.
Knicks will beat the Celtics in this series.
Fact.
No, the Knicks aren't going to beat the Celtics in this series.
That's a tough one,
Fiction.
actually.
I'm a fact in it.
You said fiction, Todd?
I said fiction.
Oh, we're going to be different now. So
Yeah, finally, you guys are all lockstep. Finally,
I think I'm going to go fact. I think they do it.
No, man, they lost by 3
Todd,
with
nice job.
going 15 of 60 from the 3-point line. That's not a hyperbole. 15 of 60 from the. They missed 45
It's great
threes.
defense. Great defense.
They took 20 shots in the third quarter, and 19 of them were threes.
It's great defense, man.
It's not.
I was
not
looking up
smart.
some stats from like the mid '80s when the 3-pointer was there, and you'd have these games in the finals with like 124 to 117 or something, and there was 8 threes were shot, and these guys shot 60.
That's because
in a game.
It's because back then, when it was in the 120s, nobody played defense in the NBA back in the 80s when they were scoring 120 points with no three-pointers. I like it now when there's actually defense
And you just
played.
had to write your stats on a piece of paper and take pictures. So.
It was like when Scott Wedman, 85.
That's a KU guy saying that, by the way, Dylan. It's a KU guy.
What was Scott Wedman Memorial Day Massacre when they beat the in the finals 148 to 114?
Oh.
Scott Wedman 11 from 11 from the field. Remember that?
Nice.
Yeah.
What was Jordan when Hornacek was guarding him in the late 90s? I think we'll start with
you
Todd
know,
on
Scott
this.
Wedman used to coach Sterling in basketball.
He did.
I know that. 5 to 4 to 4.
He never talks about it.
We're all.
You brought it up, not me.
How did you know that, Todd?
He always asks
He's
me.
brought it up a few times.
Yes.
He always asks me, and it's crazy to me.
Why does he
My
always
God,
ask
you
you?
have one of the nicest jumpers I've ever seen. Who coached you as a child? That's how it always comes up.
Scott
Always.
Wedman. This guy's.
Your
jumper
show
is
reminds
wet.
me of someone.
Is it Wedman? Yeah, that's right. That's
Wet
exactly.
man.
He taught me. 5 to 4 to 4. We're all tied. We start the second go around here as we are halfway through our fact or fiction. We start with Todd here.
Sticking with the NBA, the Timberwolves will win the series versus the Warriors.
Tough one again.
Yeah, Todd. What do you say? Timberwolves winning against the Warriors. Ugh.
The Warriors they're going to get old this week.
Yeah, I agree.
That's getting old quickly. The cliff hits typically from one year to the next. This
May
is one
5th,
series
they were
to
fine.
the next.
May 6th, they are screwed.
I love it. Man.
Wait, Libby, what'd you go? You had a question mark on yours. You didn't seem confident.
No, I said
they're getting old. The Warriors are getting old.
They're going to win. It's a fact. T-Wolves are going to win, whatever that is.
Okay.
Is T-Wolves?
Okay. That'd be a fact.
Yep, so
Dylan.
I'm at the same level of confidence with Todd. Same answer. Fact. I don't like it, but I'll go fact.
I'm confident. It's a fact. T-Wolves are winning and maybe sweeping.
Yeah, T-Wolves win. I think the Warriors are about to get old quick. I think,
as Todd said.
I mean, Draymond on Naz Reid? Who's guarding Anthony Edwards? I know Steph's great, but I think Edwards can at least somewhat do something against Steph if you have to go that route.
Jimmy Butler.
Yeah, good call. I just think
we'll
I think the T-Wolves are just more athletic, and I think that's what it comes down to.
I like watching them play.
Both teams are fun to watch.
Hey, the box score of that 148 to 114 game with Scott Wedman.
Yeah.
You know how many threes they shot in that game? The Celtics scored 148 points.
12.
9.
Oh my God.
And the Lakers shot 5. There were 14 threes shot in the game.
They just played no defense back then.
I mean, it is kind of true.
It's terrible. Just no defense whatsoever being played.
You could get to the paint at will.
So gross.
You could get into the paint at will, Jason.
Thank God we've taught defense now, and we've got that in today's NBA. Whew. God, that would be annoying.
Sarcasm.
Watching a no defense league like that. I think we'll start with it 6 to 5 to 5. We're all tied. I think we'll start with Dylan here.
Dylan, final NBA one. Pacers, who are up 1-0, will win the series versus the Cavs. Yeah, these are good ones.
These are really good ones.
Thank you, NBA.
Thanks to these game one failures.
Yeah, I made everything because if they're all 0-0, it wouldn't be fun.
Sterling apparently put this together at 12:38.
Hey, whoa, pal.
Fact.
He thinks
Fiction.
about this constantly.
I'll go fact on the Pacers.
So what was the exact question? So I can.
Pacers up 1-0 will win the series versus the Cavs.
Yeah, I think it's a fact because the Cavs are so freaking injured right now. So I'm gonna go a fact. I mean, Mobley and Hunter are both questionable for Game 2, and they've got other issues there with Cleveland. So, if healthy, I would have taken Cleveland. But right now with the injuries, I'm gonna go Pacers. Fact.
I think I'll say fact, but I want them to lose so badly for Tyrese Halliburton's dad. But I'll say fact.
It's a fiction.
Nice.
Oh, I almost said
wow.
fiction.
Mr. Halliburton's going to be very sad. I don't think he's going to storm the court.
He won't be there to see it.
Well, he's not going to storm the court after they lose. A cavalanche is going to happen. A cavalanche will happen soon.
Donovan Mitchell dropping 45 tonight.
We'll go to Jason.
Yep.
Soft pretzels are far superior to nachos at a movie.
I mean, anywhere. It's
or at
a fact.
Ball game, yeah.
Anywhere, at a home, at a restaurant.
Well, not like at a Mexican restaurant.
Is this a movie? Is this a movie question or an anywhere question?
Well, again,
except at a Mexican restaurant.
Like at a Mexican restaurant, I'm not going to take a soft pretzel over the nachos. Like that's just
common menu
just dumb.
item.
Can I get the soft pretzel there?
Think about the enchilada, the soft.
What do you want for Cinco de Mayo?
Well,
a soft pretzel?
I had to say, or else someone's going to get me on a technicality. So soft pretzels are far superior to nachos anywhere besides a Mexican restaurant.
It's one of the easiest facts in the history of facts. Todd?
Oh, Todd, sorry.
Definitely a fact in a movie, but I think movie snacks and ballgame snacks are different. But I'll say fact.
Yeah, I'll go fact.
Yeah, so it's a fact.
But I had to make the movie one because I think at the ball game it's a little different. Sometimes you can get good nachos at a ball game.
Yeah, but
for sure.
also
but
I
yeah,
will say,
movie, you got to be able to see what you're doing with nachos. You can't do that in a movie theater. It's dark. You come out with peppers and cheese all over yourself.
Movie for sure, and I will also say sometimes at a ball game you'll get the soft pretzel, and you could use that as nunchucks.
Yeah,
or I mean, brass knuckles. You can use those as brass knuckles.
That soft pretzel
get 'em at the right time.
Just slide it right through the finger, and then boom! Now you can punch somebody with it, and it's you can't see it.
That's the not so soft pretzel.
Yes.
That soft pretzel went to Heartland's Men's Health. Heartland's Men's Health.
Well, it's been it's 4 hours or longer. That thing will just sit there.
It's a hard pretzel.
High tea on that one, man.
That's right.
Rock hard.
God dang it. Todd will go first. 7 to 6 to 6. We're all tied. Todd leads us off. Last go around.
Lebo, I feel bad for Blues fans after that choke job.
Well, you probably don't because you're a hater, but I feel bad for him. I feel bad for me because I like the Blues, but I'm going to say that's a fiction because you hate St. Louis.
Same
Even
exact.
your brothers in the farmhouse from St. Louis.
Carbon copy
you
that
think
answer.
are all jerks.
Yep,
same answer.
I'll be the college athlete at the podium when there's 5 of them. What he said.
Yeah, fiction. It's St. Louis. Why? I'm not going to feel bad for St. Louis.
Anti-American, though.
Well, TJ Oshie's different. Okay,
he doesn't play there anymore.
Yeah,
well, I know.
I'm talking about the Winnipeg Jets.
Yes, Winnipeg is.
I get it, but still, it's St. Louis, man. Like,
but they had the American goalie versus.
They don't know how to make food.
So
like, what are we doing here? Like,
he cost us the 4 Nations, so yeah.
That was as devastating an end to a hockey game.
I don't know that I've ever seen something like that.
It followed up the Dallas one, where the guy they traded midseason had a hat trick in the final period to win the Game 7. So that's saying something.
Yep.
There are some pretty good videos of Blues fans dying with 1.6 seconds
I felt
to go.
bad for him. You know,
it's a tough year for John
not
Hamm.
Sterling though.
No, it's St. Louis. Sorry, they can go back to their. They don't know how to cut bagels or anything.
Did John Hamm introduce the Blues there before Game 7 too?
No, I don't think
been
so.
Rough, man. All right, I'll go first. It's 8 to 7 to 7. We're all tied. Todd's only missed 1, or no, he's missed 2.
St. Louis, go back to your shanties.
Okay,
it's like Happy Gilmore. Who am I talking to now?
Me. I'll go, or Dylan. Sorry, Dylan.
Definitely
last
not the
2.
Blues fans. That,
last 2.
Texted in Monday.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Well, I feel bad if you're from KC, but come on, it's St. Louis. Come on, pick someone else.
Okay. Now you're threading a needle for Blues fans that you do feel bad for.
We got the Mavs.
All right, Dylan's up. 8 to 7 to 7.
Dylan, I am working on drinking less coffee.
Oh, I'll go fiction for me and you.
Yeah, fiction. He's drinking coffee right now as we speak.
I haven't seen any evidence of this.
Yeah, I mean, he's got coffee.
So I'm going to say fiction.
He just took a drink of coffee.
It's fiction. I'm drinking coffee right now. Yeah, I'm drinking a lot of coffee. I'm not going to try and stop. That's
I had
silly
to
talk.
say that because that was unfair for Todd. He was we had a home field advantage there with that one, with you saying it and then jokingly taking a drink of coffee.
It wasn't a joking drink. I just was.
No, it was a serious drink.
It's a serious coffee.
Serious drink. Yeah, coffee's just good, man.
Okay, 9 to 8 to 8.
Agreed.
I'll go first. Last one.
In honor of my shirt that I'm wearing, which is a Fritz's shirt.
Nice.
Love Fritz's. Grew up going there as a kid.
100%.
I'm also going to California starting on Friday. Another place that I love, which Jason knows, is In-N-Out.
Mm-hmm.
The Gin Dare from Fritz's is better than any burger at In-N-Out.
Oh, 100% fact. Are you kidding me? That's fact. That's
Fact.
easy. That's a
Fact.
That's fact all day.
Fact, yeah.
Everybody said fact here.
I love In-N-Out, but the Gin Dare from Fritz's is a top-tier burger. That's a fact, baby. It's a fact. You put some hash brown on a burger.
Yeah,
I'm all the way in.
You could have named about 50 burgers and said better than In-N-Out, and I would have said fact. So you just happen to go with an
Big
awesome
Kahuna
one.
burger.
That is a tasty burger. And they didn't say that about In-N-Out.
Can I wash this down with some of your Sprite?
That is a tasty burger. Look at the big brains on Brad. Or was it Brett?
Brett. Nobody
first
knows.
Name, Brett or Brad. What's his real name? Also, why are they having cheeseburgers at like 9 in the morning? Anyway, we'll take a timeout. It is 10 to 9. Oh, we need the tiebreaker question because it's 10 to 9 to 9. So we'll take a timeout after we hear the tiebreaker question from Sterling.
Make my Chipotle bowl.
That's
yours? Okay.
You got to make it.
Okay.
Make my Chipotle bowl.
All right. We'll do that next. All right, let's go quick. We got to build a bowl for Sterling Holmes.
Make my bowl.
All right, Todd, we'll start with you since you're on location there at Robert Brogdon. What's the bowl you're building for the Sterling here?
Well, I got a little help here from Alex, who's out here helping with the remote. She thinks she's talked to Sterling about this, but she can't really remember. But we're going to go brown rice, chicken, no beans. We're going to go corn salsa, a little sour cream, and cheese, and we're unsure on lettuce.
Is it close?
We're so out on that one.
Alex, the
no
wrong
beans.
person.
Yeah, we've never talked about that.
I've gone.
I love beans. Big bean guy.
Black beans.
Yes.
White rice.
Yes.
Chicken and steak. And then you load it up with sour cream, cheese, guac, and salsa verde.
You're close. Close.
He's not paying for guac.
I put guac if free.
Yeah, right. I almost put the red, but
I'm a hot sauce guy. So Dylan,
I'll go rice, chicken, steak, cheese, lettuce, and tomato salsa.
Okay, so Jason was the closest. So Robert Brogdon wins. Tell Robert he wins. I said chicken or barbacoa. I accepted either one.
Yeah.
White rice, black beans, sour cream, cheese, hot sauce, corn, guac, if free.
Yeah.
If free.
I had red, and I scratched it out and put salsa verde.
They're hot sauce. I'll get it every once in a while.
Hot sauce.
Their hot sauce
is
fire.
legit, yeah.
Really good.
The red is legit.
But I love their black beans. Their black beans are great. They're solid.
It's a good bowl. Todd, what's going on there at Robert Brogdon? And we'll let you go.
Well, hey, we're heading out, but they're open. So if you want to come out here and check out any of their new vehicles, they got a bunch of them for you. I-35 in Santa Fe. They've been here for 30 years serving our community, doing a great job with it. So come check them out this week.
Todd, you are the man, sir. Appreciate it as always, brother. We'll talk to you next week. You guys get to hear from Seren Petro. That does it here for The Zone on a Tuesday edition. The program takes you the rest of the way here this afternoon. Keep it locked right here on Sports Radio 810 WHB.